Oh, good, you're here. Come on. This is the centre of performance. Whenever there's a top performance in New Zealand, it all comes from here. That's Lisa Carrington. She's been doing that for days. That's the boy who got the hole-in-one in Taupo. Oh, he did it again. Hey, Finn, how's the performance going?
Top tier.
Nice. This is our Generate room. In here, you'll find our top performers helping Kiwis maximise their KiwiSaver investments. Get in here, Finn. Maximise. Right, Generate. Putting performance first.
Bryce Casey, welcome to my podcast.
Tom Harvey, nice to be here. It's weird, I listen to your podcast and watch your podcast more than any other podcast, so it's weird to be sitting in this chair that I've sort of looked at and listened to.
You're a sauna listener.
I'm a sauna listener. I listen to you nude, which I think is what I said to you when I saw you a couple of months ago, and then I realised that's a weird way to open a conversation. But yeah, no, I got a little infrared sauna in our garage, and I listen to you in little 20-minute bursts nude. Enjoy it.
I'm pleased it's a home sauna. Like if you told me it was like, Remy, we're a racket club, I'm nude. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. No, I enjoy it, so it's nice to be here.
Oh, thanks. It's great to be here. And you haven't, as far as I'm aware, done a lot of these. I found one that you've done with Brodie Kane 5 years ago on her Kiwi Yarns podcast. Is that the only sort of longish form podcast you've done?
I reckon that and maybe... Yeah, and maybe one with Sharyn, with Nadine and Dan. Nadine Higgins and her husband. But that was purely based on
the fertility.
When they were trying to have a baby.
Right.
So they were sort of asking us questions about how our journey went. But yeah, no, nothing on myself specifically. So this may be your quickest yet.
Oh, it definitely won't be. There's a lot to talk about. Does it sit comfortably with you? Are you like okay talking about yourself?
Every radio announcer likes talking about themselves. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try and be fucking humble or anything else. But I don't know what you're going to ask me, so we'll see what gets asked as to how comfortable I am.
You've done some shit. This year it's your 25th year anniversary on The Rock. 15 of those on Breakfast.
Yeah, close to. Yeah, I think I started Brekkie in 2008, 2009, so yeah, round
it's even longer than that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think maybe, like 17, 18 years or something on Brekkie now.
It's
close to.
It's crazy longevity at one station.
Yeah. I remember when early on, maybe 5, 6, 7 years into it, I remember other people had said, John O'Pryor actually was one of them, he's like, you don't want to get typecast into one station, and which was funny for him to say at the time because he was typecast into The Rock. He obviously is since not, a good friend of mine. But and I remember being concerned with that, thinking, I do need to be able to do other stations, but 25 years on, I don't think so at all. Like, I think I could work on other stations, but The Rock's provided me with everything so far. So, and I still bloody enjoy it.
I mean, if it's a station that you could retire on, that wouldn't be the like. I remember having like Christian Cullen on the podcast last year, and
loved that body.
He didn't want to go to Ireland to play for Munster. Like he wanted to finish in Wellington. He fucking loved Wellington.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything bad if you have your whole career at one outfit.
No, I don't think so at all, and especially if it's given you the things that you wanted it to. You know, in terms of whatever those personal goals are, or like for me. The Rock sort of provided everything. We've been lucky though. Used to work obviously at the company, but The Rock's a super stable station. Like I've had the same boss the entire time that I've been there. Rog, who's my main co-host on the show, has been like a constant mainstay the whole time. Even the other people on the show have been there a lot, like whether it be Andrew Mulligan or whatever, and Dunk, who works at the station. So all of that, it's like a family. So yeah, that makes it a lot easier to stay there as well when it's people that you actually like.
Yeah, it's funny that you say it's like a family, and there's so many family members that have been there that entire time. The difference between when you started and now, like they're two completely different stations in a way, aren't they? It's like a station that's growing up.
Wildly different.
Yeah. And I think you are a lot to do with that as well, like the heart of the station.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Hard to answer that.
Yeah. But we'll get into that later. But the charity stuff you've done, you've sort of been the driver of that, I'd say.
You're correct to say The Rock is a very different station in 2025 to what it was when I started in 2000.
So how old were you when you started? Like 20?
20.
20.
Didn't know what I wanted to do. My dad was quite successful in work. He was like near pretty much CEO at BNZ when I was growing up. So my dad was always away with work, did well with work stuff. My sister's real sharp. She had a degree, and I'm the youngest of three, got an older brother, and he was doing well as well out of school. and all my mates were off to uni, and so there was good pressure to be like, what are you going to do? And I didn't do that well academically at school. Like I loved school, loved Wellington College, but I more loved hanging out with my mates and that side of it, and then didn't really know what I wanted to do. Went to go and study down in Dunners because my girlfriend was moving down there. Then we broke up, and then I was like, shit, what am I going to do here? And because I didn't have bursary, I had to just live in Dunedin for 6 months until I turned 20. And then that didn't end well because didn't achieve much in that 6 months. And then I remember, I went to Melbourne where my mum and dad were at the time. And I remember the moment I was sitting out on the deck and the radio was on and it was just this really shit voice break. And I remember thinking, man, everyone's at me to work out what I'm going to do. That guy's playing music and talking rubbish, which I've always been the dude who loved playing music, whether it be in the car or DJ at parties or whatever, and talking shit was what I got in trouble for my whole life in school. I was like, there's my job angle. Like, there it is. Perfect. And then I went back and did like that 6-month diploma in radio in Wellington, and then, just sort of started from the bottom at the rock.
Oh, so it wasn't like a lifelong dream? Or
Not
anything?
at all.
I'd
never once considered it.
What did you want to do when you were at school?
Didn't know. My dad loves telling a story that we've got a big family. My dad's one of 10, so we've got like 100 cousins or something stupid. And I don't know, I always loved little kids. Like when I was the cousin that would always play with the little toddlers and stuff like that. And anyway, in your beautiful, how you're naive when you're little, you don't know. But I found out that a doctor for kids was a gynecologist, and so Dad would wheel me out at parties and say, Bryce, tell Steve what you want to be when you grow up. And I'd be like, I'm going to be a gynecologist. And they'd all laugh, and I'd be like, fuck are these guys laughing at? And then obviously I didn't realise that. So I wanted to be a gynecologist. And ended up on radio.
It's paediatrician, right?
Paediatrician. Yeah. Someone sent me down the wrong river.
Right.
Yeah. Then I learned what a gynecologist was.
But did you? Was there part of you then that thought, these people are laughing, it feels kind of good?
I always loved a reaction. Yeah, I reckon any school teacher or my mum and dad would say that same thing. But my dad's, he's quite quick and funny with a quip, so I think I maybe, you're all products of your environment and things like that, so I think I definitely remember learning early on. But it was always that fine balance, which I'm now having with my own boys. There's a difference between funny and cheeky, and you've got to get it right. Like it's that, that fine line to walk. But no, I always loved getting a reaction, and but it's funny how it came about. I certainly never thought about it at school.
So, what did you listen to? Did radio play a part in your life growing up? If you're in Wellington at the time, I suppose Polly and Grant were massive.
Massive,
on ZM.
Nick Tansley out on the streets, those sorts of things. I do remember listening to Sunday nights. Bomber was on Channel Z.
Oh, yeah, he used to swear.
Yep. And he also talked to you, our age, when I was 15, 16. Like, he it really felt like he was talking to us. But the main guy that I ever was most inspired by in radio was a guy, James Coleman, who did the Drive show on Channel Z back in the day. Rest in peace to that station. But, yeah, I found him super entertaining, and I remember I'd listen through the songs to listen to what he did on the show, and things like that. So he was my favourite when I was younger. But yeah, I listened to the radio heaps. I was that classic with tape songs, that would play on your tape and make your own mixtapes, and I always enjoyed it. I remember listening to the radio lots when I was a kid. I always loved music. Like I bought as many tapes and CDs and stuff as I could when I was a kid, because I went to concerts right from an early age and always loved music.
So you did the 6-month radio course, and then you get like an internship at the Rock or something?
Nah, just a full bottom of the barrel. John O'Pryor, who I mentioned before, he had already taken all jobs possible because he'd done the diploma 6 months before me, and so there wasn't a lot of work at the start. So then I went in, I'd labour in Waiheke for 40 hours a week from sort of Monday to Thursday, and then I'd come over, and right at the very start I'd record fake shows. So I'd practice shows. Boss wouldn't even listen to them. Brad wouldn't even listen. And I just had to keep working away to the point where I annoyed our boss so much. And he finally let me start doing midnight till dawns on the weekends. And so that's where I started.
It's crazy to think because, as you said, like Brad King is still there now. So when you were doing these audition shows, he was a kid at the same time.
100%. He's only a few years older than me. Yeah, I know. It's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's been so long.
Would that have been your preferred station to work at?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the time, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the oldest recording you've got of yourself on the air?
I don't want to know.
No.
I
Have you got like old cassettes? Or
there were some that were played when it was my 25th anniversary a couple of months ago, and they were horrific. But they weren't super early. I wouldn't even to timestamp this. Ozzy Osbourne has just died, and some interviews played today that we had when we had Ozzy on the show, and they were even from 2012, and I sounded horrific. I used to have this weird voice rod, use great dictation, and and I was like, what the fuck was I doing? It's horrible to hear yourself.
you must have there must have been someone you were sort of modelling yourself on at the time, even if
Two announcers, yep. Green Man, who used to do the night show on The Rock back in the day. He was a real legend to me when I was first starting. He was super cool, super helpful, really made me feel like I could do the job. And then I was also probably trying to model Jono, because he was having great success with the Do Stuff to Jono stuff in the morning and all of that, and he was a good buddy. So, and because he was doing well, I was like, oh, well, if he's doing well, I should probably sound like he does. So they'd be two people that I were inspired and impressed by, I guess.
I think everyone in radio has that. There's like a senior announcer or another announcer generally at the same station that you sort of like base yourself on, even if you don't know you're doing it. You sort of do it. But that timestamps this interview nicely. Yeah, this is the day that Ozzy Osbourne died. And on my walk here to the studio this morning, I looked on your podcast feed to see what you guys had, and an hour after I heard about Ozzy Osbourne died, like on your podcast feed, there was an interview that you guys did, the one you're talking about, like 12 or 13 years ago. It was a real quick turnaround. It's almost like you had that one waiting in the chamber.
Like the Queen, waiting for him.
Yeah, but I didn't notice anything. I mean, Rog, your co-host, he sounds exactly the same.
Like he's going to die. Or what?
No, in terms of his voice then and now. And I didn't notice anything different about you. I think you're just being maybe a bit harsh on yourself.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe you hear it yourself.
Yeah.
But I can hear it. I can hear that I thought I sounded different. I didn't feel like I spoke as normally as I speak now. Like I don't think there's a huge difference between how I speak to you now or any of my friends or whatever than when I'm on the radio.
It's funny, I think on radio some of that...
Whereas I think I did back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes a while to become, like at the time you would have thought you're being fully authentic, but it actually maybe it's like experience and hours on the air, and maybe it's just age and growing into yourself, but it does take a while to become like completely authentic.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a great show you guys are doing. And yesterday on my run, I listened to your whole show podcast, and Joseph Parker on, like a good friend of the show. Yep. There was another, and just explaining it's going to sound like a real shitty piece, but it was like the 3 worst foods in the world or whatever. But you guys just managed to get anything and turned it into something good.
Yeah. Well,
and I think that's the power of like having like a good dynamic.
Yep, we have that. We're lucky. You'd know from any radio show that you did previously, like, I hate the word that's overused, but culture, and what's the other word I'm thinking of when... you have that vibe that's in a studio. Chemistry, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
We're lucky we have a really good chemistry. We also know each other so well that we've got better at it, but we can use that communication of looking at each other to know when, if I'm going to take an L, I'm better now, we all are, at sitting there and just taking it. Whereas back in the day, I might have fought over the top of whatever was being said to come back with a quicker burn. But it's funnier if shit gets piled on me, and then in the next break we might pile shit on Miles or Rog or whoever it is. And so, the chemistry works well, which makes us be able to turn very average content like worst foods into some form of entertainment.
Just, something that's going to give people a laugh or a bit of escapism on the way to work. So it's yourself, Roger Farrelly, Andrew Mulligan, and Mel Abbott.
Yep.
And it's been the 4 of you for how long now?
That show probably, I'd say at least six years. I'd say that exact formation. Yeah, but Mel's he was with us from about 2011. He was there for a couple of years. Then he went to Radio Sport, murdered Radio Sport, and then came back to The Rock after that.
Was it him that murdered all the pandemic? It's up in the air.
Solely him. Him and Richardson.
He's a great broadcaster, eh?
Yeah, great broadcaster.
Okay, best and worst thing about each of those guys. Let's start with Rog.
Oh, gee whiz. Best thing is, it's his overwhelming passion, The Rock. I don't think anyone cares more about The Rock and its success than Roger Farrelly. And it's probably his worst trait, is that he loves it so much that sometimes I reckon we wish Rog had other passions as well. So that, and I mean that in a nice way, because you want to have like a good balance of everything. And he just went travelling this year, which I think was awesome for him. And I think he might get into do more travelling and stuff. But he cares so much about it. And I think you can get better the more you do it, of realising its place of importance. It's important to me that we do a good job, and that I try and do a good job on the radio and whatever that may be. But far more important to me is my family. You know, is my boys and Sharyn and stuff like that. And that's not to say his family isn't high on importance, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
you can care too much about something as well. So that's
Yeah,
Rog.
it's funny that you should say that, because that's something that Sir Steve Hansen said as well, that someone's best quality is usually their worst
Right.
quality as well.
Maybe that's recency bias. I listened to that interview recently.
Yeah.
But I
It's
didn't.
interesting.
But it's also genuine, and I don't think Rog would be offended with me saying that. I imagine he'd agree.
No. Fuck, you guys give him so much shit on the air, eh?
Well, yeah.
It's low-hanging fruit. Is there any...
He deserves more credit on that, Rog, to be honest. I think that's a misconception with Rog. People think just shit gets thrown at him the whole time and like, fuck, poor old Rog. But Rog is a lot smarter than what people give Rog credit for. Like, because obviously, as you know, like a lot of planning goes into shows. Obviously, when you're on air and you're bantering, a lot of that will come naturally. But he's an expert in serving himself up too. Like, will have those eye contact moments where he knows exactly what he's doing by walking you into a sitch where you can do it, when you can slam at home with him or whatever, or whatever topic you're doing or segment. He'll remind us before we go on air, remember when I fucking fucked up by doing this or whatever. So he knows what he's doing. And it's, as I say to the previous point, all for the greater good of what gets the best laugh and best entertainment. So he's not the laughing, that's all he does guy, which I think some people might have had that preconception. He's a lot better than what...
A smart operator.
A lot smarter than what some people may give him credit for. I know lots of people give him credit, so...
Is there anything that's off limits? Do you guys have your off-limit things? Just the areas that you're just not allowed to go with each other? You must do. You probably can't talk about them here.
No. I mean, anything deeply personal,
Yeah,
probably,
yeah.
as you'd know. Yeah, I think we're all pretty good now at... We also don't want anything to be awkward. You know, like, fuck, there's nothing worse than... I mean, there's good awkward, and then there's, like, how are we going to continue our show awkward? And we've... yeah. So there's respect more than off limits. I reckon that's a good thing that we have on the show. We'll know. And I think also you get really good at reading body language. I reckon if I have a good skill set... don't pump my own tyres, but I think I'm good at reading body language in the studio. I think Miles would say the same thing for me. Rog may be as well, Mel, but I sort of, and they might do the same for me, but on any given day, I think I'm pretty good at reading the room straight away as to how each person is. And sometimes I'll micromanage, like I'll send group messages to 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 4, and I might go, I reckon this is what's happening today, so...
Oh, like you might text, say, Mel, and they'll say, hey, Roger's a little off today. Or
he might be upset about this, or, you know, something happened in Mel's life, so if he's quiet, it's because of this, or and vice versa. You know,
it's a good EQ. Have you always had that?
Nah,
No.
definitely not.
Has that come since being a dad, or just getting older? What is that?
I think everything comes with getting older and getting better. You know, like you like
It's
to
a
think
privilege of getting...
yeah, absolutely, and you like to think you learn more as you do it. I don't know. Maybe I'd say a few things have got me to that point. Yeah, being a parent would be a part of it. I also think if some formations of shows have worked better than others, and you learn from experiences. I don't know, maybe it's my dad's stuff of leadership, where, not saying I'm a leader, but do you know what I mean? Like, you can try and work out how to steer the ship. Well, my boss, Brad, he says in terms of my role on the show, like, and a long time ago, that if you were to liken it to rugby, people have positions, like Roger's the skipper of the show, and then I'm referred to, I guess, as like the first 5 where you're running the ship. So I guess it just becomes part of that. Like if you're in charge of steering how the show's going, then it's on you if you can to realise how you're going to best steer the ship that day. If you can do anything to help it.
Yeah. And that
also, and those chats aren't all the time. They'll just be on certain occasions that you might
just
do that.
when and if
it's not every. I don't have group chats I don't have separate chats every morning.
See you sitting there on his phone. It's like, well, my phone didn't ping. Yeah. I must be in trouble.
And also, after this, every time I'm on my phone in the studio now, people are going to be like, "Who the fuck's he texting?"
Well, the other phone's ping, but not mine. Okay, this is interesting. Have there been any storm outs over the years, or periods of silence where, like,
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, it makes it difficult, eh?
Oh, yeah. As there what? Love her, and we get on great now. Me and Leah Parnapa used to clash hard out. But when I first came, and Leah, one of New Zealand's great broadcasters, like an incredible career over everything, whether it be Radio Live or Radio Hauraki back in the day or The Rock, et cetera, et cetera. But when I was first brought into the show, Simon Dool had left, and I came into Breakfast, and I was put in there as the young, wasn't married at the time, didn't have kids, and they wanted like a younger person in the show to, for the younger audience and to freshen it up or whatever it was, and they could pay me less, and so like I came in there, and Brad, our boss, would encourage everyone to have different opinions because obviously that's how radio works.
Yeah.
And I was less wise at that point, and so I would really go with Leah, and she would come straight back, and so we had some good clashes that lingered off air. Like usually, the mics will go off, and everyone can laugh and go, "Oh, that was good for that radio," but yeah, it wasn't. They weren't that good at all. Once we were talking about we had to shave her hair off for someone had dared us. It was for some wacky radio thing. That caused a storm out. She left the studio that day. Rog tried to fight me one morning on air.
Like physically?
Yeah, well, because he'd never had a Charlie. Like, remember the old classic knee Charlies where you knee someone on the side of the leg? Yeah. We were talking about those. And anyway, it had come about he should try a Charlie. And then when he got Charlie, he didn't enjoy it. And then not many people tend to enjoy a Charlie. And then he tried to fight me. And so, yeah, there's been a couple of little blowouts. But also, how could there not be? Because it's a weird situation, a radio show. Like, it's a marriage. I spend more time with those people and have more chats looking eye to eye with them than I do with Sharyn, my wife. Like just in terms of how hours work out. Like, and so you've got to manage those marriages. And like any marriage, they have really tough times and they don't always last and all of that sort of stuff. So... yeah, it would be weird if we didn't have fights. And I think we've got better now, though, at preventing big fights. And again, that just comes with all the experience and stuff. Yeah. Like I might see us or Rog or Miles or whatever, or our boss Brad, have got better at, if you can see something starting to become aggravating, you get better at going, oh, fuck, let's prevent this then. Let's change this before it becomes something.
Oh, these are such good insights. Also, it's you're in this.
Yeah, I don't regret anything I've said there.
You're in this fairly small room together, and you're having conversations. Like most people go to work, and the 3 or 4 people you work closest to, you can have a little bit of small talk with them through the day, but largely you can ignore each other.
Yes.
And breakfast radio, it's the complete opposite of that. You've got to manufacture a good time together.
100%. Some days you don't feel like doing that. Some days you do something, and some days people are in different moods than others for various reasons of anything that's going on in their life. Yeah, it's hard. Like it's one of the greatest privileges of all time to have that job, and it's not lost on me. And I'm deeply appreciate the fact I've been able to do this and still get to do it. Touch wood for a while longer yet. But that is the hard part. Is every day coming up with. Well, every day trying to be good as well. Because if you've set a certain level, obviously you want to continue it. And as you know, at Breakfast Radio, there's a lot of chat. Afternoon time drive, they'd talk half the amount we would around about, because they obviously play more songs. So yeah, it's a lot of shit to talk. So it's a lot of chat with 3 people that you're supposed to be different to.
Yeah, different opinions.
If you had 3 people that were just your best mates, that's fuck great because you just all agree with each other the whole time. But we're supposed to not agree because you provide different opinions and stuff for people listening, obviously.
And sometimes with
No one would want 4 Bryces. Fuck, what a punishing show.
But also sometimes with your friends, you're like, oh yeah, I don't really have an opinion on that. I don't really give a fuck either way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work on radio.
Nah,
you need an
can't.
opinion.
100%.
What do you think the key has been to your longevity in radio, and in particular in breakfast radio?
Well, like Rog, I care. I care a lot about how we do. I care about doing a good show. I care about the rock and all of that. So I think that's first and foremost. Like, I want to do a good job, and I'm proud of trying to do a good job. I think I've done a good job. Not always, but I think in certain times I've done a good job. I think in terms of that having an opinion, I've always had a strong opinion. But it's good to have a strong opinion, not just because that's radio, but also because people either love or people either agree or disagree with your opinion, which I think is important for people in radio. So maybe that's helped me. The fact that people are like, fuck that guy, or I agree with that guy, that's been helpful. And obviously I think in the last 6, 7 years, I think obviously the change in which we've gone about with the mental health angle, I would say has helped all of us.
Yeah, shit, when you eventually finish, that's going to be your legacy, right? That, like the 5% stuff, really.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Well, I mean, totally, because, yeah, I mean, it's still some of those moments that we've had in some of those days and shows or fundraisers or whatever that we've done, they are still the things that always get brought up to me and mentioned. And
well, it's made like a tangible impact to people's life. Not to say that your day-to-day stuff doesn't, because it does make a difference.
Course,
but this is like a more, I suppose, noticeable difference to people's life. And we'll get into all of that.
Yeah.
Just a couple more on the radio thing. So your wife, Sharyn, and we'll get into the dynamic of that relationship.
Yeah.
I know she's the boss, but... so she's having a break from radio. She retired at the end of last year.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a Jordan, Jay-Z retirement. She's going to come back.
I mean, maybe not. And I don't think she'd mind me saying this at all, but I don't know. I mean, like we said before, like, radio is pretty tough and can be quite punishing in terms of, well, I don't know if we did say this, maybe this was before we started, but radio is tough in terms of always having to mine your life for content. And she's been really strong on saying that. Like, it became really tough work to continually be like out with a friend and be like, oh, how can I steal your little bit of private information to make it into radio content or whatever. And so I think she genuinely really is quite enjoying spending time with the boys and not having to think of content every day. So I don't know. I think she misses the paycheck.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I was a real pig with that stuff. Like, I wouldn't say to someone, oh, hey, do you mind if I use this on the radio tomorrow morning? Because then they might say no.
It was said about you behind your back.
I'll just do it, change some names, and apologise for it afterwards.
Yeah.
But there's so much content you have to come up with. It's a thirsty beast.
Yeah. And a lot of it are long stretches. Like, a long bow. Have you ever
had a period where you've thought about quitting like Sharyn did? No.
No, I really haven't. Like, some days I've found tougher, and some shows I've found tougher in terms of whether I've got on with some people better than others or whatever it may be. Or nah, man, I love it. If someone had told me in school days that I'd be home by midday, Monday to Friday, and have the weekends off, I cannot overstate with all genuineness, it's a great privilege. I have a lot of mates who work real hard, do real important stuff. Whether that be doctors or all sorts of different fields, and they do proper work. And I'm like, oh man, I literally am getting paid to do this. I'm very lucky.
Yeah, I think that's a good space to play in, that gratitude sort of space. Yeah. That's really cool.
It's genuine too. And that's also coupled with, don't get me wrong, some days are far more enjoyable than others, or periods, but for the most part, I've never thought about leaving the job.
I've got a card here called Miscellaneous that's got a few bits and pieces on, and then we'll dig deep into some other more important serious stuff. So May 8th this year, you got a hole in one.
Yeah.
How long have you been golfing?
Played heaps with my dad when I was 13 or 14. My dad was a good golfer. My granddad was a good golfer, all of that. My mum's dad. So it's always been there. And then, when I was like 13 or 14, we were living in Wellington at that point. And my dad took me out to be a member at Parapara golf course. And it's a brutally tough golf course. Before all these flash golf courses like TRI and that were in New Zealand, that was like New Zealand's #1 course. And it's still ranked in the World 100. So it's a really tough course, especially to learn golf on. So that would fucking traumatise me every weekend, playing with Dad there. So that's my earliest memories of golf. But I also was playing with a mate once, two of my mates, Alistair Dunson and dude Richard Page. And we were like 14 and my mate, Richard Page, got a hole-in-one on the 14th there, which is a par 3. And so to see that as a kid was like, wow. And so I've stood over every par 3 my entire life going, even with the terrible talk with mates or randoms that you're playing with, today's the day, stand there and then it would never happen. And so, it finally happened. But I played for a couple of years, to answer your question, when I was 13, 14. Then I'd play sort of once a year on the piss with mates until about 3 years ago, coming up 3 years ago, I got a random text at work one morning and it was the guy who was the GM at Titarangi Golf Course, which is like Auckland's best course. And he was like, hey man, this will sound random. I'm the GM at the golf course. Kings of Leon are playing today. Do you want to come out and make up the 4? Well, obviously the group of 4. And I was like, fuck, that's so specific. It's got to be real. Rung was legit. Went out there and played that day. And that guy, Richard, who's a good man, who took me out for the round with them, he used to, long story short, he used to make some docos about suicide back in the day. And so he'd been a listener and he had heard some of the stuff that we were doing. And that's why he thought to ask me, and then became a member. And I've been a member there. So I've been playing heaps in the last 2 to 3 years. Love it.
Wait, playing golf with Kings of Leon, how was that?
Awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah. So it was supposed to be all of them, and then not all of them came. But Nathan, who's sort of the boss of the band, who's the drummer, he's the oldest brother, he's like a golf nut, like loves it. And so it was me and him, and then this dude Richard, who's the boss. And Nathan, follower, couldn't have been cooler. Like, you'd know it. Usually the rule of thumb with anyone, with the bigger the rock star they are, the cooler they are. But this guy was like next level. Like, he made me feel like I was his mate for the whole round. He was rad. And that reignited my love for it. And then started playing again after that. He was cool.
Yeah, generally, the more famous someone is, the less they have something to prove.
Yeah.
And the nicer they are.
100%.
I don't know, just as like a broad rule of thumb. Yeah. So who else are you sort of pally with? Like Dave Grohl? You've met him on a number of occasions, eh?
Yep. We've got a good relationship with Dave.
There's an iconic photo that you've shared on Instagram numerous times of him like pouring a bottle of tequila.
I have shared that numerous times. And I'll continue.
There used to be shared more.
Yep. That was at a bar in 2018 in Sydney. Him and Taylor Hawkins had this listening party for their album, Concrete and Gold, I think the album is. And we went to it, they played it, and then they just mingled around with us and were just pouring booze down everyone's throat. And he's super cool. I've interviewed him a bunch of times. No interviews in the last 2 or 3 years, ever since Taylor passed. He hasn't done any, and then obviously he's had his own...
his infidelity thing.
His own situation going on. So he used to do interviews when he didn't need to. I don't think now I doubt I'll ever get another Dave Grohl interview. Like, why would he ever do press? It's all people are going to ask him about is either Taylor or infidelity.
As a fan of his, how did you feel about that?
The infidelity?
He's human, right?
Totally. No one's perfect. I think you can do way worse things. He's done a lot of good for a lot of people. That's not excusing infidelity, right, at all, because obviously his wife deserved better and etc. But, in terms of, like, the worst things in the world to happen. But the problem is...
A rock star acts like a rock star.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's not enjoying Coldplay concerts.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, I think everybody probably felt, I don't know, people would have felt a little bit disappointed. Oh, not angry, Dave. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
But also, fuck, what have they all done? There's plenty of people casting or, throwing a bit of shit at Dave Grohl, but I can guarantee if you went through their search histories or their whatever they did, like, no one's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the human experience.
Yeah.
So if he walked into the room now, like, would he know your name?
Probably not, but
Don't you reckon?
He would act I don't know. He always has every time we've done interviews, and I don't know whether that's superb work by the record label Sony that have always made it feel like he knows me, but he will act like he knows me. We've met him on enough occasions, where he will, it appears like he does, but maybe he's just very good at his job.
Class act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good at lying.
Who else? Who are your favourites? If you see an interview coming up, who are your favourites? Who do you sort of groan at?
Dave Grohl for sure.
Yep.
He's been great. We had Ozzy Osbourne. He was awesome. Tom Morello is superb from Rage Against the Machine, but he's just super intelligent, but also super lovely. He is a standout over the years. In terms of musicians, the worst that two stand out. Usually they're all really good. Three worst. The trifecta of turds were John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I don't know if he was that well at the time, and he just didn't want to talk to me. He was terrible in person at Spark Arena, like one of the worst experiences I've ever had. He came into the room, he didn't want to do it, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm Bryce," and he looked away from me and he goes, "A real pleasure to meet you." Like looking away, I was like, "Oh nah, it's gonna be one of those days."
Oh god, this is gonna be the longest 8 minutes of my life.
But I wish if I'd have done that now, I would have turned it on him, because you learn those things, and it would have made for a far better interview if you'd have been like, "Mate, what's your problem?" Like, that would have got a good reaction. But I was so young, and I was like, just took it. He was no good. Alien Ant Farm, dreadful, as you'd expect, and the guy from Disturbed, David Draymond. Terrible.
It's funny, I sort of fell off in the bad ones. They're just not memorable at all. They're just like nothing. It's just a nothing moment. It's hard. I mean, you think if you're in that position, you'd switch it on for the time you're there, which is something that I suppose separates a Dave Grohl from the rest of them.
Yeah.
But maybe it's easier said than done, because we're all human.
And also, some people are really charismatic, and some people aren't. But some people are really talented musicians and charismatic, whereas some people are just really talented musicians. They don't have to have the charisma as part of it. Like, you see it heaps. There are people on stage, they're these electrifying, unbelievable front women or front men, and then off stage they're completely insular. Like it's common. So I don't begrudge people if they're not great. But we've been lucky to have some absolute rippers. Yeah.
How good. You're one of your regular golf buddies. Going back to that, Di Henwood, you seem to play with him quite a bit. Yeah. What's that like? Is that like for him? Do you talk about anything but his illness?
No, that comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm on like a group chat. Me and Sharyn are on a group chat that we've been lucky enough that Di has this sort of inner circle of his close friends, where he started this WhatsApp group chat before the news was public about his cancer.
I think he addressed this as part of his book. Little D with the big C.
Little D with the big C.
Yeah, that's the name of the chat.
And so that group chat's been going for years now. And so everyone sort of uses that. He'll let people know what the sitch is or how the treatment is going that day, and then everybody, or randomly someone will come in with something out of nowhere to just try and ask him how he is, and give him a boost. And but it'll come up when we're playing golf, and then also, as with Di, absolutely anything else will come up. Because see, I've known Di since, he won't remember me, but I've known Di since school days. He was at the same school at Wellington College. He was like 2 years above me at Wellington College, and I'll never forget Di, because one day we were in assembly and they were running for school council. You know how kids would get up and go, "Yeah, vote for me. I'm the best for school council." You'd be like, "Yeah, fuck, whatever, man. No one's voting for you, bro." And then he came up, and Di was the same height and size he is now, same amount of facial hair. And he came up and he came jumping onto stage as he did, kicking his legs out. Exactly the same Di you know now. And he's like, "What up, losers?" Like, essentially, and everyone starts laughing straight away. And he's like, "Third formers, I know what you want. You want pubes. I'm going to get you all pubes." And all these boys start banging the tables and loving it. And then he's like, "Fourth formers, I know what you want. You still want pubes." He's like, "I'm getting you pubes." And proceeded to go through the forms of what he promised everybody. And so I always remember that of him.
Have you told him that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, that's great.
Absolutely. We've been asked to go back and speak at Wellington College at some point to the students, which is hilarious that I would be asked to go back and speak there. given I wasn't that much of a role model student. But I love Di. I find that friendship super special. He means heaps to so many people. He means a whole bunch to Sharyn and myself. Sharyn loves him. How kind he was during Dancing with the Stars, and to her when things weren't going well for her with some miscarriage stuff. And he's just a beautiful person, beautiful family. Yeah, like fuck it. It sucks, man. The Di situation. Yeah.
He's showing so much courage and bravery and dignity and resilience.
Yeah, to use that situation to help other people, which is what he's done. Man, it says so much about him. And also, he's just he's a great human. We're all lucky to have Di in our lives. So I love getting messages from him and talking to him whenever we can. But he's a special man.
Yeah, he really is. Boxing, you've done some. How many boxing fights have you done?
Two boxing fights.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one of them was against Nixon.
Yep.
Stephen Nixon Clark from My FM.
Yep.
Who was the other one against?
A guy called Puka, who used to be like a...
Oh, Craig Lynn.
Builder. Yeah. He used to be like, did a little bit of... He was pre-Coxie, builder guy on TV. And yeah, he used to be a boxing promoter, this guy. Puka, a good man. He used to be a boxing promoter, and he'd put on these boxing fights, and then he obviously thought he saw an easy victory, easy victim in me, and knew he could use the smart man, knew he could use the leverage of if he got me to fight, that we would be there for promoting his fight. And that was in like 2010. And so I agreed to do that as a challenge because I'd been doing it as fitness at Boxing Alley, and I was like, I'll give that a go. So that was 2010, and then the fight with Nixon was to 2013 on the Joseph Parker undercard.
Why did you want to do that? I can't think of many things more terrifying. And I think there's the fight itself, which is terrifying, but then the 12, 16, however many weeks beforehand, where you're going to training, you're getting smacked in the head, and then the anxiety's building.
Anxiety's horrible. So that whole 12-week camp, it never leaves your brain. Like, it always is there. It's like, ooh, fight's coming. Ooh, how's it going to go? Ooh, don't want to get knocked out in front of your friends. Ooh, this is going to be on TV. Ooh, rock audience won't like this if you lose. And Andrew Mulligan's words were like, you don't need to do it. Like, then you gain nothing from this. And that would always ring in my ears. The anxiety of walking out is horrific. I nearly started crying on both occasions because it's so overwhelming, the want to do well in front of your friends and family. Why did I want to do it? I love boxing, first and foremost. It's my favourite sport. I don't know. I guess I loved a little bit of... I wouldn't say I loved fighting when I was at school by any stretch. But, do you know what I mean? Like, I also wasn't a full stranger to having maybe a little bit of niggle or scrap as well. So I always sort of enjoyed that side of the physicality or whatever of it. And I loved doing boxing, first and foremost. So it was a hell of a way to test yourself in that.
When does that anxiety where you're almost bursting into tears when you're walking out, when does that go? Immediately, as soon as the fight starts?
Yeah, because the weird thing is as soon as the fight starts and the bell rings and then you punch or whatever, it automatically then, and you don't realise it until you've done it, which makes great boxers, they don't have any of that because they're so used to it. But as soon as it starts, it just feels eerily similar to all of the training that you've done.
Muscle memory.
You're like, oh, that's right, we're doing this now. And then you just sort of respond to, or attempt to respond to whatever's happening in front of you. But yeah, so it goes as soon as the bell rings. Just like you're nervous before, if you've got a speech to do at a wedding or, you know, emceeing or doing some sort of chat at work, you're super nervous and anxious. But often the case is once you start talking, that all goes. But it's the lead up.
Yeah, I heard Jimmy Carr on a podcast, and he said it's a very simple...
He was a great interview to answer your earlier question. He's the man.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, we've had him a few times, and he's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen some clips that you guys have done on Instagram. It just comes, roasts you guys, and then leaves
amazing.
Again. Yeah. So it's a very simplified thing he said, but he said depression is thinking about something that's happened, anxiety is thinking about something that's in the future. So the best thing is to be in the present. And I suppose when you're boxing, that's like one of those prime examples. Like you've got no option but to be in the moment.
I remember on the Parker undercard fight when I fought Nixon. So that was a full walkout live TV. even a minute before you're walking out, the camera's just right in front of you, waiting to go, and you can hear them all going 30 seconds, and you're like, oh, fuck, man, like, there's enough tension without a camera looking straight at you, and then you got to do that whole walkout. But I remember that, to answer your point of you've never felt more present than that, I remember being mid-fight with Nixon and seeing the big screens, because it was in that Truss Arena, and so they had the big screens for the full sold-out crowd that were in there, because obviously they were there to see Joseph Parker. But I saw myself on the big screen, and I was in the ring, and I looked up, and I was on the big screen, and had enough time, no discredit to Nixon, but I had enough time to look at the big screen, look at all of the crowd, and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing in a boxing ring?
Like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, it was a real out-of-body experience. And that's like, oh, shit, this is out of it.
I'm going to finish this guy off.
This is out of it. Yeah, it was just, what's going on? Yeah, never again.
What did you learn about yourself from the fights? If anything.
Yeah. Well, that I could do it. Which is a big thing, because you don't know if you can do something like that until you've done it.
Yeah, I suppose it tells yourself you're a person that can put your mind to doing hard things and then follow through.
Yeah. And when you're really scared of something and don't want to do it, the elation often that you feel afterwards shouldn't come as any surprise to you, because, you know, anxiety and nerves and all that mean you care. And that's all that was heading into that fight. I was only scared and nervous and all of that because of pride and that you want to do well. And then, like anything, if you've done all of the work and all of that beforehand and prepared, then more often than not, like, it'll take care of itself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And absolute worst case scenario, you get knocked out early in the first round.
You won't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Until the next week on the radio.
My life would be very different if Nixon had knocked me out in that first minute.
How so?
Oh, man. I would have been... I honestly, I think that could have absolutely fucked me on the rock. The more I think about it now.
You have to move to Port Macquarie or somewhere. Change your name.
Yeah.
Live next door to David Bain.
Yeah. Honestly, well, I got the right jersey on. Honestly, that would have been bad for me. People didn't really care that I won, but if I lost, I reckon I would have copped it. Bad.
That's terrible, eh?
Yeah.
Really?
I would have copped it bad. Just like Nick Trott years ago, former breakfast host.
I remember that with Grant Kiriyama.
He fought Grant Kiriyama, and it was the same thing. Had he lost that fight, he probably would have got a heap of shit. But he didn't. He was successful that night. And Monty Beetham was my coach, and Monty Beetham, everyone he's ever trained has won. And so, like, there were all these little added elements of pressure. Yeah. But enjoyable.
But like, even if you lose and you get humiliated, you're still braver than me and most other people that would never do it, never dream of doing it.
Yeah, but everybody does different things that are brave, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, brave can be used in a lot of contexts. Like, you know, Di Henwood to me is brave. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a situation he didn't willingly put himself into.
Yeah.
Whereas I suppose boxing you do.
Yeah, mine was more took a risk. Yeah.
One more thing on the miscellaneous card, then we're going to move on to some good stuff.
Yeah.
But how do you feel when you see this photo here?
I've always fucking hated this pose that I'm pulling.
It looks like an album artwork.
Oh, I just look like... Yeah, I look like the Arctic Monkeys cover. I just look so... Fuck, I was over it at that point. So this is a picture. What I also love in this picture is the rolls of barbed wire. Like, if no one knew what this picture represented, it'd be a great guessing game. You know,
it would. Yeah, for anyone listening to this rather than watching, what is the photo?
So this is a picture of outside the Manukau District Court around about September 20-ish in 2011, as at about 5 p.m. we'd been released after a day of being arrested and charged with civil aviation offences. And it is Ben Boyce talking to a media scrum, a guy called Andy behind him, and then myself with my arms crossed, looking like I'm about to cry. Arms crossed, eyes closed. Ben strangely smiling. nervously smiling. We'd been arrested, obviously, that was when I dressed up to be a pilot, for Ben Boyce's comedy show, and it went pear-shaped.
Yeah, so most people are probably familiar with the TV show John on Ben, but
Yes.
before John on Ben...
No, so this was before Jono and Ben.
Yeah.
It was in between Pulp Sport.
So there was the Jono Project, and then there was another show called Wanna Ben.
Wanna Ben,
This
correct.
was for the show Wanna Ben.
Correct. I had a segment called Blag and Bryce, like a 60-second segment each week where I had to try and talk my way into things for free. So it had been like I had been dressed up as a Kiwi mascot and walked into the New Zealand Rugby League game because I'm here to be the mascot, talk my way in. Dressed up as Buzz Lightyear to get in to go watch Toy Story free at the movies because I was there as part of the premiere, etc. I mean, it is what it was. And this one was, can I blag my way into being a pilot and getting past security at a domestic airport? Seemed a good idea. It fucking wasn't. It wasn't a good idea.
Part of the issue, right, was that it was Rugby World Cup year, right? That
Correct. That was
yeah.
a massive part of the issue.
So
it was like a week out from the World Cup.
So you just get a pilot suit
It was a week out from the World Cup and a week after the 10-year anniversary of September 11th. So, like, it was not good timing to fuck around with a plane. On CNN, you know how, like, whispers stories change all of a sudden, like, a little bit of information gets left out or added. On CNN, it had that I had chased after the plane on the tarmac trying to take control of the airplane. I was like, that is so not what happened. The truth of what happened and what it got made out to be are two totally different things.
Yeah, so run us through the day. We'll get to the fallout stuff afterwards. But it's just a suit from first scene, which is a
First
costume
scene.
hire place.
First scene,
Yeah.
terrible costume.
Terrible. Doesn't look
So-
anything like a pilot costume.
So terrible that my moustache fell off several times when talking to the lady in New Zealand. I go in there with my briefcase, my moustache, my hat, my poor costume. Everyone's already like, fuck, what are you up to? And then I'm being recorded, I'm mic'd up, there's secret people filming me. I go up to her, I'm like, hello, ma'am, here for my flight. Because the whole point of it was being, if it didn't work, it was stupid enough to be at least worthy of it failed, content. And we just never expected it to work, obviously. And she starts laughing at me as my moustache falls off my face. I pick it up, I put it on. She essentially laughed at me like, fucking, what are you up to? I didn't try and press on with anything else. I sort of looked back at the people that I know are secretly filming, and I'm like, shrugged my shoulders like, fuck, this is pretty shit. It's not working. Because we were going to film a whole bunch that day. Didn't think anything of it. We got into the van and off we went. Went and filmed these other ones, thought no more of it. This was on a Saturday morning. Sunday night rolls around and I'm about to be doing prep for the Morning Rumble show the next morning, and I go on to stuff.co.nz and there it is, this pixelated picture of myself from the airport security with a full, do you know this man? Tattoos. Look, the one thing that always irks me, I was like, when was that? 2011, so... That's 14 years ago. I was in my 20s, but it said mid-30s. I was like, fuck. Do you know this guy tattoos mid-30s? I was like, actually.
It's hurtful.
Yeah. Or wanted, blah, blah. And I was like, shit. Because, you see yourself on the cover of that. Like, do you know this guy? So I was panically ringing Ben Boyce. I was, Sharyn was like, what are we going to do? And, so that was a hectic night. I'm ringing the cops going, and no one would answer. I'm like, if you're looking for him, I'm ringing you. No one would answer. I'm leaving messages like, let's get this sorted. Like, oh, this is not what you think it is. I didn't try and breach. Well, I did, but I didn't try. I get to work that next morning, Monday. I'm doing the show. Then all of a sudden, it's leading the news. John Keyes on Breakfast News. It's leading everything. It's front page of the Herald again. Oh, it's front page of the Herald with that same pixelated picture. Then... someone knows it's me because it didn't take, people would have known because obviously the same industry. And then all of a sudden outside our windows at work, all the cameras turn up. So all the news there with all the cameras going, there he is. I'm like, fuck, what are we going to do here? Like, I've tried to ring the cops. This is hectic. Brad, our boss, doesn't know what to do at this time. And then our big boss at that time, Andrew Schustman, was like, he's like, you need to escape down the back stairs and get the fuck out of here. And I don't know if that was his whole plan, but that's what I remember. Just get the fuck out of here. And so I go down the stairs and I'm like, this is super hectic. Get in my car and just essentially drive past the cameras. Sharyn was out there like, fuck off to the cameras because they were trying to get into the building. which I wish they had released that footage. That'd be great to see now. Her defending me. But so I'm driving. Then finally the police ring me back. And they're like, "G'day, mate." And I'm like, "Oh, good to talk to you." And they're like, "Come on out to Manukau. We'll get this sorted." And naive, I was like, "Oh, thank Christ." Went there, didn't have any representation, any lawyers or anything like that. I go into the room and then talk to these detectives. They both played good cop. None of them were bad cop. Like, they both played good cop. Didn't know they were recording me. Well, I didn't know, so they probably did tell me they were recording me the whole time. I thought we got it all cleared up, told them absolutely everything. And then they go out of the room for 10 minutes, and I'm literally there twiddling my thumbs like, thank Christ, this has all been sorted. And then they come in and they're like, "Bryce Casey, you're under arrest. The civil aviation, you face 2 years imprisonment and a $10,000 fine. You'll now be taken to a holding court until we can process you in court at around 4 p.m. this afternoon. You have the right to remain silent, blah, 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 blah." And I was just sitting there like, whoa, like everything went silent. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, no, because we just sorted it out, bro. I just told you everything. And he's like, yeah, everything you've told us will be used in evidence. And I was like, you motherfuckers. Like, you got me.
You did me dirty.
You got me dirty. Oh, no. And then I get taken to this holding cell, and I'm still like, oh, man, what's going on? And they put me in this holding cell with this other dude, and I think he might have been there for something more serious than I was, and then he just starts punching the wall, and he's just punching this wall, and he's like, "Fuckers." And I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, like, what do I do if this? I'm thinking in my head, combos in my head if I need to defend myself, like 1-1-2 or something like that, like something that's not going to help. I was like, this is all so hectic. Then they moved me into a cell with Ben and Andy, who had also been arrested that day. They also thought they'd come to be sorting out their issue. They too had been arrested. So the cops got us all on that day, and then we're in this holding cell. Oh, one of the things that happened in the holding cell, it's still one of my favourite stories, is we are about to... We've been processed. Court's told us that we'll come back at a certain amount of time for court and all that shit. And then before we got to the holding cell, actually, sorry, there's two parts to this. As we're going through, they're processing you. So I've never had that before, where they're rolling, like you see in the movies. They're taking my belt off. They're taking my shoelaces for no self-harm. They're rolling your fingers in ink to get your fingerprints. Now, as they're doing the fingerprints, the guy goes to me, who's doing it, I'm scared. I'm shitting myself like, fuck, man, this has got out of hand. I'm rolling my finger over, and he's got my hand on my finger, and he goes, "What's Rog like?" I was like, fuck, man, I do not want to talk about fucking Rog right now. Like, he's like, shit, he's crack up. And he's rolling my fingers, and I'm like, mate. Anyway, so then they process us in court. We're about to be let out where we're aware there's a full... a whole lot of press waiting, and so we get let out to them later. But before we got put into that holding cell, this big security guy comes up, and he's a big unit, and that's me, Ben, and Andy, and real aggressively he goes, "Who's first?" And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm sort of looking at the ground. I'm thinking, if anyone's first, Ben, it's you. This is all your idea, so you've got to say first. He's like, "I'm not going to fucking ask again. Who's first?" I was like, oh no, I was looking at Ben like, you better say it's you. And Ben was like, ooh, what for? And he puts on a glove. And I was like, oh no, like, fuck. What, this day is going from bad to worse. Now someone's going to be in my anus. Like, what is this? And then he goes, nah, I'm just fucking with you. I was like, fuck. And then we get let out, all the press are there, and that is the picture that you have. So all of that had just happened, and that's why I'm arms crossed, because it's been a hell of a day. All the press are there, yeah, and then we drive home. It leads the news that night, and then it was bloody a year and a half of court, and they wanted, the Crown had said our lawyer thought that when it came time to the final day in court, the Crown wouldn't argue it, that they would accept, if we were, to be discharged hopefully without conviction, don't do that dumb shit again, pay a fine, do community service was the goal, obviously. But we didn't think the Crown would argue that, but then on the day the Crown did, they were like, let's actually... They said I was standing there in the dock, like it was like watching your own TV program. I was in that dock like on a TV program, and the Crown is like, Your Honour, who knows what Bryce Casey would have done had he grabbed control of the airplane? And I'm sitting there like, oh, come on, man. And then our lawyer, who is a smart man, he goes, I think if any member of the courtroom takes a look at Bryce Casey, they can realise very quickly that he would have no idea what to do if he was in control of a plane. And then everyone started laughing at me. And I was like, perfect. And anyway, yeah, we got let off. We got discharged without conviction. We got a fine of a few $1,000s each, and we had to do a bunch of community service. But it was bad shit, man. I didn't know whether I was going to lose my job. It was a huge impact financially on Ben Boyce, and to his credit, Champion sort of looked after us all in that regard, so credit to him for that. I think it sort of would have obviously had a lasting effect on Ben because it was such a big thing to be happening. We were lucky that, in my opinion, that the judge had common sense, obviously, at the time, because we weren't trying to get on the plane or do any of that. It was blown out of proportion. I nearly lost my house. Me and Sharyn were buying a house at the time, and it was literally to be the day of exchange of the house, or whatever, I can't think of the right wording for that. But the insurance were like going through all those classic questions, and they're like, anyone, do you have a conviction pending? I was like, technically I do. But I'm not going to be convicted of it, I don't reckon. And that, I can't give you the mortgage with that, and yeah, so it was hectic on many fronts.
There must have been, during that period when it was all going on, there must have been moments of just severe worry where you thought, fuck, maybe they'll make an example of us. Maybe I'm going to be incarcerated.
Huge worry.
And I can't imagine how horrible it is for people that love you, your family, Sharyn, everyone else in your inner circle, like having the Prime Minister on TV fucking talking about you.
Yeah.
In a negative way.
Yeah. Who was a friend of the show at the time too. Like he used to come on, as you know, like he'd come onto the show and be your best mate, John Key. He was the first of those prime ministers, really.
Yeah.
But, I thought I was going to be in a heap of trouble with my parents and that everyone would be disappointed and it'd be back to like school days, Bryce, where, what have you done here? But I remember I rung Dad and I was, like it'd been a hell of a day, and I was like, now I was ringing Dad on the motorway on the way home from after that long day that I talked about before. I thought, oh, fuck, here we go. Like, now it's the last part of the day where Dad's going to ream me down the phone and all of that sort of stuff, which I, deserved and expected and all of that sort of stuff as an adult. And he didn't. He was the opposite. Like, he was really caring straight away. And I don't know why it surprised me, but...
it's what you needed at that time, I guess.
Definitely needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't angry or anything. He was real supportive and caring. So I remember that real clearly.
That's so
One
cool.
of those things you want to remember to be able to do, I guess, as a parent yourself, But yeah, it was a hectic time, man.
Hectic. Well, I've worked with Ben since then, and it changed him as a person. Like he, if anything, probably overthinks everything now and thinks about every possible outcome that could be negative in any situation he does.
Which some would say he shouldn't, right? And even I would say he shouldn't. And I know
How can you not,
I know
though?
Ben super well, but yeah, then how could he not?
Yeah.
Me and you weren't the ones who had to foot all that bill or face all that uncertainty with work and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you can't really put yourself in his shoes, I guess, unless you dead set walked in them.
With
I don't know if it made me rethink everything though. I've done a bunch of dumb shit since.
how long was it before that was on the cards for like radio entertainment? Like
It still is.
Yeah,
Still comes
I'm
up.
guessing for the first year, 2-3 years.
No,
It was...
I had to do that next morning I was doing like full fucking apologies. Like, I'm really sorry for everybody that I've disappointed. Sorry to Media Works. Sorry to everybody like that. Sorry to bring the rock into disrepute.
But for you personally, when did it start to become sort of funny? Like you can look back now with the benefit of 14 years and go, okay, that was a hectic time, but it's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
It must have taken a while to get there.
Yeah. I'd say maybe 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. 2 or 3 years. But I reckon there would have been laughs in between that as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, thanks for sharing that stuff.
Yeah, it was a hectic time.
What's part of your rich tapestry of life, right?
Yeah, it's a moment.
It's a moment, all right. Yeah, I can't imagine, because I was in the studio next to you that morning when the Herald came out, and so they had this is when the newspaper was still a big thing, and it was like a big photo on the front page outside the dairies and the four squares.
Yeah, man.
You were the poster.
Yeah.
Fuck, you must have been shitting yourself.
I was. Yeah, I was. Yeah,
It's
I was.
me.
I was really scared.
You're like a fugitive, like a wanted man.
Yeah, but it was like the shittest movie because I was like, I'm ringing you dickheads. Like, answer the phone. Like,
This is on you
you can't
guys.
say wanted and then not answer the fucking phone when I'm trying to ring you. Like,
Oh, fuck.
it all common sense played out. Ironic that we didn't show much common sense in the first place of thinking that was a good idea for a TV skit. But you know, you live and you learn.
But it went through so many filters, though. No one flagged it. No one.
Did it? Did it go through heaps? I don't know. I think it maybe went through a few. I wouldn't say heap. But that's to my earlier point of Ben, to his credit, very creative mind, and Andy and all of them. So there were stacks of skits. And that was considered so shit at the time when we did it that we really didn't think anything of it the rest of that day. But there wasn't one sense of, ooh, shit, like, hope no one thinks anything, like, or I hope no one says anything. But I think what had happened was originally on that day that I think that person, the lady who was laughing at me, I think how I gather it is that she said in passing to someone else, like, how's that dickhead, you know, dressed as the pilot with the moustache falling off. And then that got said to someone else, and then all of a sudden once it gets said to a few people, like, huh? Someone was dressed as a, pilot trying to get through security, like a week out from the World Cup in this airport.
Yeah, maybe it's Al Qaeda.
Quick, look at the security footage. And then it sort of, I think...
Escalated.
It escalated to a point it shouldn't have. But then, yeah, as I say, we probably shouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Oh, live and learn. Live and learn.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your family life. So, Sharyn, what's the meet cute there?
How did we meet?
The meet cute. Yeah. What's the story there? So you mentioned earlier after you left school you followed a girl down to Dunedin.
Yes.
That didn't work out.
Yep.
So you had a couple of relationships, and then were you a ladies' man?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that. I mean, obviously, different people enjoyed being single at different times. I got to work out how I answer this. But I liked relationships. Like I had one for a couple of years at the end of school, and then I had another one for a couple of years who I lived with, and then me and Sharyn had met at work, but then at that time we each had different relationships. She was doing the night show when I was doing the night show for The Rock, and she was obviously doing the night show at the Edge. We'd sort of see each other around, and then we had a few mutual friends and stuff like that, and it blossomed from there. Then we were together for a little while, and then we had a little break, and then obviously we've been together. We've been married 13 years this year in October, and.
Fuck, is it 13 years?
Yep.
That was a great wedding.
Yep, you were there.
Yeah.
Together, 15 or so.
How is it? What's the good and bad things about being part of a power couple?
Well, see, that doesn't sit comfortably, a power couple. I don't really see us as a power couple. And that's not trying to be humble or any of that shit. It's just a weird thing to think of in that way. I think you definitely notice it sometimes if you're out and about, I think we've got to be more conscious of, not that we behave outrageously, but maybe
Someone's watching.
Sometimes semi-aware to not do what some of your mates do or whatever, you know, not to blow out. But it's great in the respect, mainly, Sharyn's like, as you know, Sharyn has heaps of unbelievable qualities, right? But one of her greatest is her heart and how strongly she wears it on her sleeve. And so, I have no greater supporter on my side than her. And so, given the fact of her experience and the fact that she does the same job, that's been hugely beneficial, I reckon, for me. Even to answer your earlier question of longevity, Sharyn would have been a massive part of that because she gets what I'm talking about if I vent about this or that, which to anybody else would be like, what are you complaining about? Like, you work till midday, dickhead. But she gets it, that relationship side of it, because she's done the same job. So that's number one that I can think of off the top of my head, the biggest advantage, that she gets what we get what each other's jobs are.
Well, you even said it before when you were talking about the 2011 pilot incident, and she was downstairs telling the reporters to fuck off. She is so loyal, eh?
Oh, super
loyal, so fiercely protective of people around her.
But I think I'm super loyal too, and so combined, it's a real definitely have each other's backs.
Yeah. and not negotiable. What are your respective fighting styles like when you have an argument?
It's all go.
Do you? You're not hiding to nothing though, eh?
Yeah. But see, I mean, everyone has qualities and faults, and I definitely have a fault of like I can. And I think I've probably got better over time. I don't know. She might say that, but I reckon what we both do is the radio in us or the fighter in us, because we've both got fight in us. You have to have the last word. And so, like, we can each fucking go to ridiculous points of, you'll think you've finally got the last word, and then you'll see this, like, the last word. And so, yeah, we both can be fiery, but you know what? To be honest, like, we don't fight heaps and heaps. I reckon if we do fight, like in a good relationship, which you should fight. I reckon if you never fought, then I think that's quite odd if you never fight. Yeah, but I think we've probably got better. We've definitely got better at not fighting. But yeah, we both have fire in us for sure.
Are you good at like bringing up those tough conversations? Like like at work, if one of your co-hosts is doing something to fuck you off, you sort of.
I've got better at it.
Yeah, it's hard though, because it's easy in a relationship just to go, I'm going to postpone this. Yeah, I need to have this conversation, but I can't do it right now.
Way better. I've got better at asking other people whether I should and how I should go about having those conversations as well. So I do that. Sharyn is the one who's taught me a lot of that.
Yeah, she's
really good at those relationships. Like, she, even right from early on, would, make me aware of, and this sounds like she's telling me what to do, and not at all, but she, if we had a fight or whatever it may be, Sharon's really good at, she's really emotionally, what's the word? Vulnerable and wise and things like that. So she's like, you, for example, should be like, you can't block that out, or you're not addressing that, or this needs to be communicated better, or we do this right and wrong relationship wise, or whatever. So yeah, she's real switched on. So I think I've learnt that from her, I reckon. Yeah. Because usually like if you're early in relationships, you could have a fight or whatever, and then just be like, I'm right. And the other person could be like, well, I'm right. Yeah. But it takes you, obviously, it's much better if you're just like, fuck. Well, no one wants to fight, like, it's way better in any situation, whether it be home life or work life, if everyone's actually getting on.
Yeah, as satisfying as what it is to say, well, I'm sorry for whatever it is you're upset about.
Yeah.
It's not helpful.
It's not helpful. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Have you guys had, like, couples counselling together? Have you done any dual relationship stuff?
Yeah, I think I should remember this exactly. Sharyn was the first one. Sharon's a big believer in therapy. Like, as I say, like, she, even with all of this mental health stuff that obviously we've done on the station, she's a good driver behind all of that, because she was the first one who really, it sunk in with me the benefits of therapy and talking and all of that side of it. So she's used quite a lot of it. And then it was because of her that I tried it for the first time as well. And that gives you a better place to actually recommend it to, our audience when we talk about it. It's all good to tell someone to go and do something, but if you've never done it yourself, then, obviously it gives you a better place of understanding. As for couples, I think any relationship could do well for having it regularly, but we don't. But it's funny because you tell people to do all these things, and it's going to be beneficial, but you don't always do it yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Even with the mental health stuff. I could be better with my own mental health, I'm sure, than what I am. Sometimes it's cathartic as well to be telling other people to do it.
It's hard though.
It's a funny one.
Yeah, therapy's good. I put off going for years and years and years. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be weird sitting down with someone you don't know and like where do you begin? Yeah,
and not all therapists are the right person for you and all of that sort of thing.
Finding the right fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have been through a lot, and a lot of stuff that could either bring a couple closer together, which it has done for you guys, or sort of make you go on your own path in different directions. Like, you got a couple of kids now, Tyson and Ruben. Yeah. A couple of boys. Is that it? You done? Or you?
Yeah, we're done. I'm snipped.
Have you? How was that?
No good. I got the 1 in 200 reaction. My testicle So obviously they, you got like these little noodles or whatever in there. They look like little, I don't know, little udon noodles. 2 of them come out and they get like, they do different things and singe them and cut them or whatever. Anyway, when he had mine out, he was talking to me about radio and about wine in Hawke's Bay, and he dropped one of mine. And so it went back into the coin purse, and I could feel him rummaging around as he was talking, because obviously you can't feel it, but I was like, what's going on down there? And because you're laying on your back sort of looking at him, which is a weird place to have a conversation with someone in the first place. Anyway, he's like, I just dropped it. But all that rummaging fucked everything up, and I had this, it worked, but I had like a avocado coloured and sized left testy for like a week. Like it shocked Sharyn, like when I got home, and it was really painful to walk. Anytime I moved my stomach, it felt like a coil was sort of being pulled from inside. Now don't get me wrong, that's nothing on what woman and Sharyn went through and all that.
So they say.
But I certainly, I paid my own little price. Yeah. So yeah, we're done. But also mainly it would be, I mean, I'd love to have more and all that stuff, and I know Sharyn would, but I wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't want to try with Sharyn, because it was so touch and go even with Ruben, our youngest, that I wouldn't, want to put, Sharyn wouldn't want to go through that again, I'm sure, and couldn't bear to lose another child. We lost 3 in the lead up.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Three miscarriages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... 2013 you started trying to conceive.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you caught stuff out of the way, you're like, this is good.
Yeah. I always wanted to be a dad. Like, I've always wanted to be a dad. Going back to my earlier gynecology chat. I always wanted to be a dad, love kids. And we thought it would just be that classic easy, like what almost you're told when you're young, to wear protection because, you'll do it once and you'll be pregnant.
Don't use that towel.
Yeah, but it turns out it's,
yeah,
as many people will be able to tell. I mean, I know you yourself, obviously, and you've always been super open with that chat as well. Like, it's hard for a lot of New Zealanders. And so, we fell pregnant, and then, obviously we lost our first one, which was brutal.
But how many weeks?
First one was reasonably early on.
Right.
But then it's a weird answer, that, because I think as soon as you're pregnant, like I always find that weird how you're not supposed to tell people till you're 12 weeks. Like, I personally don't agree with that, because I reckon it's such a joyous occasion when you're trying for it. I feel like the more people you have in your support network that you trust, the better, from 3, 4, 5 weeks, whenever you find out onwards, because... Yeah, man, if it doesn't work for whatever reason and you lose it, like, it's brutal, and it's it can be super lonely where it's just you two, nobody else knew.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, because it's like you're supposed to keep it a secret because that's the danger zone.
Yeah.
But then you lose it, and it's suddenly you've got to tell people you were pregnant, and now you're not anymore.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, there must be a reason. There's got to be a reason for it, but I don't know what it is. Because if you've been on the downside of it, it's not fucking fun.
Nah, not at all. It was horrible. I remember, and because we'd talked about it, I think, one we'd lost, and another occasion when
is that the one you called Sharky?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's Sharky, there's Bunny. Bunny was first, I think. Bunny, there's Sharky. It was one, though, I remember, one moment I remember, I used to, and Sharyn in particular, because it's so much harder for Sharyn and women, because you're obviously the carrying the baby, and so I think she felt even more a sense of
failure,
or guilt, and all of those sorts of things, which obviously you shouldn't and couldn't, but you can't tell someone how to feel. But then that's hard as a guy too, because you can't do anything because you're not carrying it. But I remember we used to dread going to the sonogram. Is it sonogram?
The ultrasound.
Ultrasound, sorry. It's to dread going to those because you didn't want to get the bad news that you'd got previously. And I remember there was a lady that did one in particular, lovely lady. She knew of our loss before, as being a listener, a lovely lady. And so she was loving when Sharyn was pregnant again, and then was loving them, and then we had like a follow-up, and so we actually grew to, be like, oh yeah, it's a good place, and then we went back and then turned it on, and the heartbeat had gone and stuff. And I just remember even seeing the disappointment in her face. Yeah, it's brutal, man. Like we cried a lot. Because you'd lost a child. We still, Tyson, our 7-year-old, is a smart little fella, and even Reuben to a little extent knows it, but they think of themselves, as being one of 5. Like Tyson will often reference Sharky and Bunny, and he'll make little jokes like, man, it'd be a loud car if there were all 5 of us were in here, Dad. And they talk about them being up in the stars with our dog Wazzy that passed away last year, and Warren G, and they're well aware of it. But yeah, it's brutal. So when we lost the third one, Sharyn was having to get a DNC, where if it's far enough along, in real layman's terms, you can't pass it naturally or whatever. They have to do an operation or a procedure to help sort of, pass, take the little baby out anyway. And so horrific to have to go and do that, obviously, for any person or couple that have been through that. We're going to get that, and long story short, there was a guy, Amar, who was the obstetrician. He is a private obstetrician, but also as part of their job, they have to work, I think, a couple of days at the public hospital. We were there getting that. We met him, and we'd met many people at this point, obviously. Yeah, and my story remembers that he essentially was like, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind having a look at something else while I'm here. I think I know what it might be. Yeah, and his suspicion was that it was like a heart-shaped uterus that Sharyn had. And so picture a heart-shaped uterus, and he was correct. And so what he was able to do, and what he said he'd do, is he'd come in and laser and snip that sort of top of the heart part and make it one big oven again. He said what was happening when it was a heart shape was a bun would start growing on one side of the oven, and the other side of the oven didn't know there was a bun in it, and it would cut off the heat. And so it could only get to a certain size. And that was sort of how he described it in a super simple way. He said, once I snip that, it's going to be a full oven, your bun's going to cook, and you're going to have a little boy. And he worded it to us almost as simply as that. And at that point, we're like, whatever, mate. Like,
you try anything, right?
Yeah, you can try anything, and sure. We're almost at, super deflated and crushed after 3. He did it. He snipped it. Tyson. And so, yeah, and he was the obstetrician for that. Obviously, cesarean at 38 weeks for Tyson. Amazing. And then, Reuben was a different story. Reuben he's got his middle name, so he's Reuben Amar Casey. He's named after the obstetrician.
What a tribute.
Yeah, pretty cool. He might have been gutted he wasn't Amar Reuben, but he's Reuben Amar. And but that was a heap more difficult pregnancy for Sharyn, because she was in hospital from like 21 weeks. It was COVID, so I could only visit her for like an hour a day. Tyson couldn't come visit her. She was in hospital essentially from 21 weeks until he was born at 29 weeks or 28 weeks, 28 and 4 I think he was. 28 weeks, 4 days, yeah. So then into the NICU department, and then that was COVID. We weren't allowed to see Reuben at the same time together. He was born not breathing. Like, you get all these appreciations for things you knew nothing about, and obviously NICU department and Starship and that was something I'd always heard about, but you don't know it until you're in there and you meet these other families in similar situations, and coupled with COVID, it was a wild time. Like, that's why Sharyn can sleep through anything now. She literally had to be in a hospital for 23 hours a day by herself, wondering if she was going to lose that baby. Like, that's pretty tough. Pretty tough in an obvious sense, but also tough resilience to get yourself through that amount of time. Because I could just go about my day normally. Like, I was still working because we could, because of COVID. We were still doing radio. I still had to look after Tyson and everything else. So I was lucky in that way that I could just keep soldiering on, whereas she was just there having to be
living it.
laying on her back.
Yeah, that must have been a hell of a mask that you put on at the time, though. Like to go into work for 4 hours,
Yeah.
cracking jokes with this massive turmoil going on.
It was, but it was also like a perfect escape.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a welcome escape.
Fuck, it's a lot to go through. What, even though Amar came up with that solution, why did you guys keep going after 3?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if we were going to...
So like going to be one last attempt, one last crack?
Yeah. Sharyn would answer that question better. I've sort of...
Blocked it out?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I don't know if we're going to keep trying. I could actually imagine Sharyn probably was like, I can't do this again. It was such a toll. And then that's when he was like, just, let us try that. And then it worked. But obviously it was so super nerve-wracking, that whole pregnancy with Tyson. Right up until, that night before at 38 weeks, I've got a photo of it where, Sharyn's sort of dancing around in the room. I've got a great photo of it where she's dancing in her underwear, and Tyson's sort of, popping out at 38 weeks. And, we were off the next morning had to be at the hospital at 6 a.m. for him to come out the sunroof. And so it was like, wow, what's happening?
Fuck, that whole pregnancy, you must have just been
Eggshells.
sort of holding your breath. Yeah.
Full eggshells, yeah.
Fuck, I'm glad it's been a success for you guys.
I think
cool.
I think we went to, thank you, yeah. Yeah, I am too. Yeah, it's the greatest thing we've ever done.
So you've done a bit of TV work. You've been on 7 Days a bunch of times, and you did stuff on The Project as well. And it was closer to the time of this happening, but you talked about this on The Project, and you got emotional. I remember that.
Yeah, yep. I can't control that, the emotion stuff.
It's powerful TV. It's good to cry, eh?
Yeah.
And it sort of normalises it.
I remember it happening. I remember that exact moment, because with The Project, it was almost over rehearsed and practiced, which I'm not a big fan of, because I get a read-through, but, the idea of doing a read-through to make sure you don't fuck the words up and all of that stuff. But then also you lose those moments of, spontaneity. And anyway, but I remember with that one, I'd sort of knew what I was going to do as the lead into the story of whatever it was. But then all of a sudden, when it was live, and I remember as it was starting and I could see the cue on the cameras that I was going to read, and I remember thinking, oh no, because when you know you're going to cry, you feel it.
Feel it in the nose.
Yeah, you've got that 2 or 3 second warning where you're like, oh, fuck. And I was just like, I can't fight it. And then I remember thinking, just feel it when it was happening. It's out of it. You also think you're crying way more than what you are when you're doing it, if you're talking to someone or whatever. Because on replay or whatever, I pictured in my head I was this blubbering mess, but it was actually sort of more just a broken voice, and you could hear the emotion. Yeah,
but after something like that, you must feel just like completely sort of vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's hard to feel more exposed than I guess you did at that moment.
Yeah, totally. But then we came off air and my phone had blown up from friends and family and all of that sort of stuff. So I knew it was a good thing. Yeah. But I think I'd learnt before that as well that, emotion and vulnerability and all of that is a
a superpower.
Obviously a great thing.
We all know that, but it's still, I don't know. It's hard. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
How are you like as a parent? What's your report card like? You're pretty good. What do you do? What are you better at, and not as good as what you thought you might be?
I look at my phone too much.
Yeah.
If I could do one thing less, it would be. I've considered lately ditching my iPhone and getting literally like a flip phone. Like I've been putting genuine thought into it, having a few chats with a few people. But it's so crucial for my job. Like so much of my job revolves around little news things you find on Instagram. Doom scrolling creates so much of our job's content.
You can call it content hunting.
Yeah, and I justify that with... Yeah. But the reality is I spend way too much time looking at shit that doesn't matter. And that'll be sometimes, when Tyson's trying to tell me a story. Because little 7-year-olds and 3-year-olds talk so much that sometimes that can become tiring. But then you've got to remember, like, it goes so quick. And everybody says that, but it's so true. Like, when I look at Tyson now, who's 7, and then I remember when he was Ruben's age of 3, I'm like, that doesn't feel like that long ago. So that's one thing I wish I could do better is not get distracted. But I do think I do a good job, like I go and play with Tyson heaps outside. I try and spend heaps of time with them each, whether it be together or one-on-one. I'm super loving. I tell them ad nauseum how much I love them, like to the point where it's punching. Like I'll say to Tyson, guess what? And he'll be like, I know you love me. Like, that's not something I always heard from Dad much. Like I remember when Dad said it to me when we went away on a father-son golf trip when I was like 13 or 14. And we were going to sleep, and it was just me and him away, and he was like, love you, mate. And I remember being like, fuck, whoa, like, out of it. And so, like, I'm sure he did say it heaps more, but I remember that. But obviously people would, I don't know. So I reckon maybe you try and do too much for your kids. We're a generation, I've talked about this with other people too, there's such a wild difference in parenting between my parents and us as parents, whether that be through how you, punish them or, all of those sorts of things. You'd go out for 10 hours when we were kids skating and biking and whatever with mates and come back when it was dark. And now you'd be worried if they walked down the street for 10 minutes. You'd be like, where's Tyson? Who's got him? So there's such a huge difference. But you got to let them problem solve. I'm trying to learn.
Like let go of it.
Yeah.
It's hard though, eh?
It's really hard because you want to give them answers and I want them to, they're on this snapshot at the moment, like I want them to stay how they are. Like it's such a beautiful, innocent ages 7 and 3 where no bad shit's happened to them. Like everyone has to go through bad things, but I never want them to go through bad things. Like I just, I can, gets me emotional thinking about it, but like I just never want anything bad to happen to them.
Fuck, that's cool.
So it's like, so I sort of want them to stay as they are.
That's cool. Well, I think like
But it will, and that's life.
Yeah, I think every generation does like the absolute best they can with the tools and information they've got available at the time.
Yeah. I don't know if that over love thing comes from how long it took to get them or not, or whether I imagine I would have been exactly the same with whoever was here.
But if that's the worst thing you do as a parent, Dad just loved us so much. Like
I'm sure I do worse things.
Yeah.
But that's what springs to mind.
Fuck, I can see you getting like emotional, just like reflecting on the boys and talking about the boys. That's really cool. Like they might stumble across this and watch this one day, and I can't imagine how that would make them feel.
Yeah,
it's powerful stuff, eh?
You'd hope so. Yeah, that's the one thing that scares me the most. I reckon is. Something, obviously them not having everything they want and all of that sort of stuff. But, I've heard you ask it on different podcasts. And sorry if I'm ruining your question for later, but I remember you have asked people what they fear or what they're scared of.
Yeah.
And it definitely is death for me. I fucking hate death. I don't like the idea of it. I hate the finality of it. Hate that people face it. Hate that it happens to good people. When other pieces of shit walk around, that irks me. And I hate the idea of not being there for them. But of course that's going to happen because it's natural. Yeah.
And also, the FOMO aspect of the stuff that you miss out on.
Yeah. And I want them to be, like, I'm close with my mum and dad, but I'm like, I can't imagine, but I can easily also go a week or two without talking to mum and dad, and that's not because I don't like them or anything, but it's just because you've got your own life going. But I can't ever see that being the way for Tyson and Ruben. I'm like, I don't ever want it to be where we just don't talk for a couple of weeks or whatever. Maybe it's just a stage. Maybe I'm just learning I'm just in that new parent stage or whatever. I don't know.
Fuck, that's going to be the most heartbreaking thing, eh? Like when they're in their late teens, early 20s, and you want to pick up the phone and talk to them, and you're like, no, I'll give them their space. I won't bother them.
It's all part of it.
Where you feel like you're being a nuisance.
I mean, ask me in 10 years, I might be like, fuck them.
I think that's the thing. Like this little dog that's sitting in the corner, and you would have found this the same with your dog. It's like a kid that never does anything to piss you off.
Yeah.
But I think it's the natural progression of life. Like your kids will do things to piss you off, so you need that sort of...
They definitely do things to piss us off, don't get us wrong. But it's funny, you can be so worn out and tired and all of that shit and be like, fuck, we need to go out where it's just us, have our own time. And then you go out and the first thing you fucking do is start looking at photos of them or like talking about them or talking to other parents sharing the exact same stories. Yeah, it's bizarre.
And while these two boys have been growing up, alongside that, like and sort of in the sideline really has been the mental health journey that you've been on. The mental health stuff and what you've learned about that, has that changed your parenting style at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, how so? Just a greater awareness of it? And
Yeah. Well, yeah, I reckon that's where that fear comes from, because I'd never want them to not be able to ask for help if they needed it. I'd never want them to go through, I'd never want them to go through things where that was ever a consideration. Because I've had, obviously, people close to me and in my family and stuff that have taken their life. And, yeah, the thought of it is really scary if anything like that happened to them. So upon us doing heaps of it at work and all of that, and in the show, and then having the kids, yeah, I think it's me and Sharyn have been really strong in our hope that we talk feelings. That, again, that's another great trait of Sharyn. Like, she's always trying to get them to say how they're feeling, and if people are making you feel a certain way, to be able to communicate it. And so we're trying to teach it from a really early age. And I'm sure Sharyn will be really, like I will be really thorough in trying to show them vulnerability. Like, I've cried a bunch of times in front of the boys, which you probably wouldn't have seen when you're growing up with our generation.
100%.
Of parents. And
even discouraged from crying yourself.
Yeah, you saw it maybe once when their parents passed or something like that, So, yeah, I want to... and we always tell them crying's good and all of that sort of stuff. Like, see, it's definitely changed and shaped how I will parent, I reckon.
That's cool. Yeah,
It's scary though, man. It's scary because you can
so?
never... Well, because, like, it's a... I don't know, you can't control people's brains. You can have hopes for how their brains treat them, but everybody's brain treats them differently, and so many times you can think that people are going all right and they're not going all right, and you'd never know, and people have great ways of doing different coping mechanisms and telling people what they want to hear and all that sort of stuff, and you just never really know, and that scares me.
Yeah, it's fucked, eh? It's fucked. And
That's for anyone, not just my boys. That's for anyone. You know, like it's a scary concept that never gets any better in this country. If anything, it always continually gets worse to some degree. Yeah.
I know, I actually, both yours and Sharyn, your life was tipped upside down at the beginning of this year with a close friend of hers, wonderful, wonderful fucking woman.
Yeah.
It's hard though, it feels like everyone knows that it's not weak to speak and it's okay to talk and you can talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the solution is there.
Nah, neither.
I don't know. But I think
it's not as easy as a solution either.
Yeah, and if
it's
your
a simple solution.
If your previous 100 days have been fucking shit and today's shit, you think tomorrow's going to be shit as well.
Totally.
So sometimes it can seem like there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Totally. It can seem like the storm's not going to, not going to pass, but then it always does. But then there's different degrees to it too, like not one person that takes their life is the same for the same reason that the last person did, like, people that are just brutally mentally unwell. And that's different to someone who's just in a bad state of depression who doesn't feel like it's ever going to get better. There's people that are great people but feel like they're a massive... The one thing I've noticed with all the stories we've had and people I've spoken to, because my DMs get flooded with all sorts of different stories, some of them being like great stories of how, whatever someone might have helped or got them to chat, or then there's other people like I'm in it right now or my mate's in it. And so often something that comes through heaps is people feeling like a burden. So I don't know whether that's something that we put on our kids or we put on ourselves or whatever from a young age, that where people have too big a sense of responsibility. That's where that burden comes from. I'm not sure, but that's a real common theme that I've noticed. And these great people that do so many great things and people love so much ultimately think it's for the best. And it's like, fuck, you couldn't be more wrong. Like,
you've
never got the chance to tell them, like, you're so wrong.
Yeah, you don't understand. And the ripple effect it leaves, not just with your immediate circle, but it just goes out so wide.
So I've worked out too, the other thing I've worked out is the pain that they're in. Like if you've got a big, say you're at the casino and you've won all these chips, and all those chips represent the pain that those people are in. Once they commit that act, all that pain just gets fucking dished out to all their friends and family.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is. It's like
it's
the pain
true.
they're in, theirs ends, but it gets given to those closest to them. And it lasts forever. It's not a thing that could pass or does pass. For the people in and around them, it lasts forever. You know, like it's still brutal on our family, even like 21 years later. You know, like and I know with other friends who are at different stages along with people in their lives. It's forever.
So you personally, how's your mental health been?
I think all right, but then I don't know. Like sometimes you can't answer your own questions. I want to choose my words carefully. I mean, luck doesn't have anything to do with it. I guess I'm fortunate that I've never really suffered any bad depression, which a lot of people close to me have at different times for whatever reason. I've had definitely times where I've been in better headspaces than others. I can get a little bit of anxiety, but nothing like what Sharyn will get, really bad anxiety, which is horrible. It's horrible to watch. Yeah, I could definitely do more and be better. I definitely still sometimes let things build up without communicating them or dealing with them or whatever, whether that be small frustrations with all sorts of things or messages that I'm getting or the way I'm feeling about things. Exercise and stuff helps me heaps. Exercise is a great thing for me, or golf or seeing my mates or whatever it may be, as long as I do some form of outlet. If I do nothing, then I can just I'll get real grumpy. And I know when I'm grumpy that I'm not good upstairs.
I'm the same. If I start getting angry irrationally,
That's when I know.
like if I'm even little things, like say I'm waiting to pay at a restaurant and the person in front of me is like questioning every item on their menu, and I'm standing there going, "For fuck's sake!"
Yeah.
It's like I'm able to take a bird's eye view and go, "Okay, your mental health isn't where it needs to be right now.
yeah.
This shouldn't be
And
bothering
then
you at all."
I'll always feel better after I've done that exercise. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So I think it's all right.
That's an interesting thing about you. So there's people that have done huge amounts publicly for mental health, like Sir John Kerwin, Mike King, and they both ended up in that space as a result of suffering brutal depression themselves. You haven't suffered it; you've just experienced it as a third party.
Yeah.
And now you've become this ambassador, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So it started when you were at school?
My first experience of it was a mate, Aaron French. He took his life when we were 16. And Aaron was like my best mate when I was growing up. And I had moved to Wellington from Auckland. And I remember getting called by one of my mates in Wellington that had happened. And he has a cool sister who I every now and then have seen. But I know her, she knows me. His mum, Thelma, was this awesome lady. And she actually started the yellow ribbon trust. I want to get the right colour ribbon. I think it's yellow ribbon. That was the first sort of suicide awareness group, really, advocate. And they were the first ones who did the first Fight for Lives. But his mum inspired that to make sure it didn't happen to any other family. So that was my first experience. And then when 2004... my sister's husband took his life, and that was super brutal. 2.5-year-old son at the time, my nephew, and I've never seen grief like it. Like, heinous. Like you wouldn't wish it on the person you hated the most. Like it's horrific suffering. And then so that was huge. And then since then, I mean, we've known mutual people. Another friend, the one who inspired it on the show was a friend, Timmy Hutchins. a good old mate, good old dirtbag mate, and he took his life in 2017. Little girl as well at the time, and everyone knew Timmy, everyone loved Timmy, life of the party, all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, he was the genesis of it really on the radio, because it was that morning that I was going to his funeral, and I'd asked Brad, our boss, and asked Rog and that. I was like, I'm going to this funeral. Suicide seems to be this thing that's happened a couple of times in my life, and it sucks. I realised we had such a big male audience, and I just said, I reckon that's a good opportunity for me to just write down. I'll prepare it so I don't ramble. I was like, do you mind if I prepare this little thing saying it sucks, and if you're battling, essentially go and see someone. And Brad was all for it, to his credit. Of course he was, but some bosses might not want to bring the buzz down, on a breakfast radio show.
Yeah. Well, it was new. It's very new at the time. It was unheard of.
And Rog was the same. He was like, yeah, mate, good idea. And then, did it. And it got the biggest response to anything we've ever done. Because I think the video got put up afterwards as well, but it was immense, the amount of people that it hit with. And so straight away, we all realised, we're like, oh, yeah, well, this is... I became really instantly aware of the importance of the platform that we had, and the privilege that it brought with it. But then it became a thing of trying to balance it, because you still wanted to do your show and be yourself.
Give people a laugh.
You couldn't do it every break.
Yeah. But that moment there, I mean, it's easy to look at this with 8 years of hindsight, but it sort of changed in a small degree, I guess, the course of that radio station.
Yep.
It really gave this radio station a heart.
Yep. It also showed, and that's to their credit too. All the big bosses didn't try and dampen it or lessen it. Our immediate boss Brad was super supportive. All the other shows and people bought into it, whether that be Jay and Dunk or whoever it was that in the afternoon show who was doing it. Everybody was a part of it. But mostly, and most importantly, was our audience. It was super important to every radio station says their listeners are the best, right? And every radio station says they're number one. It's a classic old gag. Every radio show is number one, depending on
somewhere,
somehow that you look at. But I'm not just saying it, but I really genuinely know the Rumble and the Rock audience are pretty special. The way that they've got behind everything that we've done, the way they've looked after each other in those communities. Yeah, it's been pretty unreal to watch.
Yes, in terms of fundraisers to do with it, how much have you raised? $1 million?
1.3.
1.3. Wow.
Yeah.
So there's been the kids' book last year, Tummy Rumble in the Jungle.
A couple of years ago, the kids' book. Yep, Tummy Rumble in the Jungle.
Which sold 20,000 copies.
Yeah, big book company turned us down. Said that it's not a good idea for a book, a fart book. I was like, it's a fucking great idea for a book. What kid doesn't love a fart book? They're like, we don't see it covering costs. So we ended up having to do it ourselves, which worked out spectacularly, because then I think $16 from every $20 book got to go to Gumboot Friday, and we sold 21,000 copies, and so that was 346,000 that went straight to Gumboot Friday. Unreal.
And there's the darts marathon, Day on the Darts.
Two different darts ones. One was a day on the darts, 24 hours of darts. I think that raised 250,000. The next year we did a day and a bit on the darts, which was 30 hours, and I think that was another 300 odd. Started off with the bowling. We did the bowling in 2019. That was the first of them. That's still probably the most important thing we've ever done. That was 58 hours of 10-pin bowling, and that was each minute represented a Kiwi that had tried to take their life the year before. It was 6,500 minutes. And so that was how we sort of worded it. Because a few years ago, early on, they'd got me to try and bowl for 58 hours.
Oh, was that the Cure Kids one? Was that a Cure Kids
thing? I did it 3 times. 2014.
You don't learn, do you?
Like I said earlier, yeah. 2014, I did it for Cure Kids. That was, I think we raised $80K for Cure Kids. But we did it in 2014 because it was 10 years on from 2004 when I first did it. And that was for Nick and Rog, the breakfast show at the time. And that was fucked. That was just to fill a few breaks, essentially. It was to try and get a Guinness World Record. which was at 58 hours. And I got real close. I got like hours out. Anyway, and so yeah, it was 20 years on, 15 years on in 2019 when we did it. And it worked out perfectly with the numbers of, the 6,500 attempts. Or 3,500, maybe it's anyway.
Fuck, sleep deprivation is the worst, though, eh? It's the worst. It's terrible.
Horrific. Yeah, I was in terrible states in that.
Yeah, there's a real powerful photo. I think it's actually there might be a couple. I think there's one of you and Sharyn hugging, and there's one of you and Andrew Mulligan having a hug as well.
Yep.
And you look like a broken man.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, he'd just come and comfort me.
Yeah.
I'd just start crying. I had no control over it. Emotions would just, I just didn't want to do it anymore. Had this counsellor come along. He was really important. He was about 30 hours into it. I was like, I cannot go for another 28 hours. And he was like, why are you doing this? And he was fucking me off because he was just right in my face. You know, when you're tired. He's like, why are you doing it, Bryce? And I was like, fuck, mate. Like, it's fucking obvious why I'm doing it. Like, we're raising money for Comeback Friday. He's like, yeah, I know that's the end result. He's like, but why are you doing it? And I remember being like, what is this dickhead talking about? And then he's like, why'd you come up with this in the first place? And I was like, it's for suicide. He's like, why? It's like, because I don't want people to do it. He's like, what do you not want them to do? And I was like, I don't want them to give up. And he's like, then that's what you got to do, not give up. He's like, just keep thinking of that the whole time. He's like, 5 o'clock Friday will come around. And if you gave up now, when that 5 p.m. comes on the Friday, you'll be disappointed that you didn't stay doing it. And I was like, fuck yeah.
You're right, damn it.
Fuck yeah. You're right. And he was right. But it was important.
Yeah. There's a real powerful metaphor in there, isn't there?
Yeah, it was.
Hanging
it was
on.
Like, not giving up.
Just
And
keep going.
like he was right, when 5 p.m. came around, a moment that I thought was never going to come and was impossible, when it hit, I was euphoric. I was sculling a beer. I was like,
Suddenly you don't feel like sleep anymore.
no
right?
way. I actually took ages to go to sleep after that. I was in this hotel room by myself, just having a couple of beers, going, I wonder what people are doing. I remember texting a mate, and he was like, go to sleep, bro. Like, fucking no one's coming to see you. Go to sleep. Yeah.
But putting yourself in this position and doing these things and becoming this sort of spokesperson, like what sort of toll has that taken on you personally? I'm guessing you get inundated with all these really important DMs.
Yep.
And you're not trained to deal with them. They sort of deserve your priority or attention.
Yep. Yeah. Don't know how to respond to them all. Sometimes I'll just sort of do. I started early on. I'd reply to everyone, but I can't do that now because I don't have the right answers for everything. And so I'll address it every now and then by doing sort of like a post or a story in and around the messages, and I'll reference them on the show and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I get heaps of heavy shit, man. I get people coming up it's at concerts where I get it the most. But it's a strange thing because I've also welcomed it and asked for it. So I can't be sort of off it. But I also don't always know what to say or do. Like and it's a privilege because people are coming up and being vulnerable and telling you things that are really important to them, which is what you've encouraged. But it's also, it's quite a lot to take on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're getting told super specific, heavy details at times where you're like, oof.
It's like I feel like Mike King. There's been times over the years where you've seen him sort of like crashing, and it's obviously
100%. We had
he's
him.
just taking too much on.
Well, he came down. He had that massive breakdown on our show.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if you recall it, but like
I
he
do.
just he had a full breakdown right in front of us. So it was horrible.
What would your message be to your Kiwi men in particular who are struggling but don't know how to ask for help or don't know where to begin?
Well, I reckon, first of all, they'll do well to even admit it and accept it, that they are not doing well. Too many guys will try and lie to themselves. Back to that whole burden factor of you've just got to keep going. But I think we're getting better at being able to admit when we do need help. And so when you do, you can, a lot of people will message us and ask us that same question, and we've got a bunch of people to send back as lines of hope. it's talking to different people. It's telling people that you trust, which can feel like a really probably silly or stupid thing to do. You know, if you get bad responses from people in the first place of being like, fuck, you'll be right, bro. Like, or I've got this going on. It's fucking way worse than what you're going on. Well, they're not the person to talk to, you know, like. I also think talking to people that might not be the closest people might work for you. You know, like, say your best mate is also shit at communicating. Like, that's not your mate's fault. He's just shit at communicating.
He's not trained.
It's not
either.
his
He
fault
doesn't
either.
know.
You know, like, it might be someone at work, an intelligent person at work, or whatever. You know, or a family friend, or just trying. Like, don't not try. I just don't think people realise how many people really care. They just don't know. They just really don't realise how important people don't realise how important they are.
Yeah, and just
because
what a
also we
devastating
live in
impact.
and we live in this life of like, you know, you see everything on Instagram, you see fucking great people doing cool things, and no matter where you are in life, there's always someone doing cooler shit or better shit than you, and so, you know, and so that must be absolutely even quantified for fucking average Joe, you know, I imagine, in this day and time, like, and that could add pressure to you, like, so you could feel less important than what you are, I imagine.
Yeah.
Coupled with everything else, like, yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah. Life is tough.
Life's tough for a lot of people.
What about you? What would your personal like rock bottom be? Would it be the fertility staff? I suppose at the time the arrest thing, the pilot thing must have
Nah,
felt
that's
pretty...
fuck all.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it was important at the time, but it was nothing.
Yeah, you look
really.
back with 5 years of
it's nothing.
review. Yeah.
Yeah, rock bottom is two things. Yeah, it's seeing the grief in my family with that loss of life, and
Oh, with your sister's husband.
and seeing what that did to my family, and then obviously losing having miscarriages was a horrible feeling. I think it's sort of I don't know. I don't want anyone to ever have that happen, but I certainly don't think it's maybe looked upon as tragically as what they are for those people that it affects, because it happens like 1 in 4 pregnancies or something crazy. So it happens to people all the time, but it's really just
not really talked about that much.
Well, no, and it's also looked at as they happen. It's like, well, yeah, I get they happen, but they're also horrific. You know.
It's devastating.
Devastating. People's dreams end and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that'd be my two that I can think of. Yeah.
Have you got better through this whole mental health journey with your vulnerability with mates, or have you always been pretty good with forcing the conversations that are more than superficial?
We've definitely got better, but I've always loved my mates. Yeah. I've become a better person. Like, I wasn't always a good person, I reckon. Like, I definitely did some shitbag things when I was a teenager and all of that sort of stuff. Like, so I reckon I've become a better person, I think. Well, I try to be. Also, obviously not perfect and all that stuff. But it's made me a better person, I think. It's funny how bad things can make people better, you know, or hard things. But in terms of my mates, I've always been... a passionate mate, I reckon. I wish I saw and spent more time with my mates now than what I do, but that's also life.
It's hard when you get older, right?
You know, I got to go to bed early every night. You know, then you've got your own relationship, and then you've got your boys, and sometimes you're just like, I love nothing more than fucking doing nothing. It's like a nice little, like once the kids are gone to bed and you've got this 2 or 3 hours of your own time, like it's a treat.
A highly socially stimulated job, you know, so it's understandable.
Yeah, that's probably just adds to it.
Okay to be in the piece. What's your Mike King talks often about as the inner critic.
Yeah.
What's your inner voice, inner critic like?
I don't know. I think everybody probably suffers a little bit at times from that imposter syndrome thing that gets talked about. My inner critic.
Like, are you generally quite nice to yourself?
I don't know. It's hard to answer that. I think so. Like I definitely am sensitive. Like things that I might not look like hurt you or affect you would, I reckon. I don't know. I can be quite self-conscious at times, different things. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you definitely critique yourself, but I don't know. I mean, I guess you just always wish you were better at everything you did. You wish you were better in your relationship. You wish you were better as a parent. All those sorts of things. I don't think I don't bag myself heaps either. Yeah.
I think that's a good.
Definitely
space
don't think
to
I'm
play
perfect
in.
by any stretch though. I don't walk around like fucking
I'm done. No work on.
I'm done. No
What's
work.
on the to-do list? Nothing.
Yeah. Looks like we are good to go here. Certainly not like that.
Well, I think that's good. Like if you're not flogging yourself and beating yourself up, but you're aware that there's still areas that have room for improvement. I think that's a good space to be playing in.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's most people though, isn't it?
Best and worst habits?
Best and worst habits.
I should have asked Sharyn this one.
I don't know. Do you mean like round the house? Do you mean?
I don't know. You interpret that any way you want.
Worst habits. I don't know. Worst habits, I probably get grumpy more than I should.
Yeah.
Like I spoke to earlier, I would say I wish I didn't get, but then you can't be happy all the time as well. Worst habit again, I'd say phone, doom scrolling. I'm finding myself growing more and more tired of that lately. That's definitely a thing. Worst habits. I don't know, it's hard to think of those on the spot. I'm sure Sharyn has a lot of lists of things I do around the house that annoy her greatly. Yeah.
Breathing
Loudly. She hates that I breathe so loudly. She also
way you eat apples.
She hates the way I eat. Hates that you can hear me chewing. She can hear me chewing when I eat. That's one. But then she leaves fucking shoes everywhere, so she's not perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff's cute in relationships. I remember by the time I left home, like my dad had a clicking jaw, and we always lived in quite a small house. I could the noise just became so loud. Like wherever I was in the house, I could hear him eating his Weet-Bix.
Yeah. That would be, I'm sure, what she says.
Yeah.
But nothing springs straight to mind of best and worst habits.
Yeah. What about regrets?
What do I regret? I mean, well, when me and Sharyn were first together for a little bit, we broke up and I was a bit of a dick, and that was my call to break that up at that time. I regret that because I know how much like that hurt Sharyn at the time, and so I don't like that I did that. So I'd say that springs to mind. You never want to hurt people that you love, that sort of stuff.
I reckon she's probably forgiven you.
I don't know.
Actually, what am I saying? Does it come up from time to time?
Maybe. Nah, she's good. I reckon I regret. Like as I say, like you weren't always perfect, so there definitely would have been friendships or shit if you got into whatever trouble or dumb shit I did when I was in late teens or whatever. There would be things I did that I regret for sure in terms of maybe how I treated some people and wasn't mature or whatever at the time to be better, trying to impress other people. Yeah, sometimes you can regret trying to do what you think you should do instead of just knowing what's right in the first place,
Yeah. Part of the learning experience, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to talk about all the awards you won as well. There's been 2 Kiwi Bank Local Hero of the Year awards for the mental health stuff. Yeah. And also you in 2020 you won the at the New Zealand Radio Awards the Sir Paul Holmes Award for overall broadcaster of the year.
Yeah. Really swept under the rug, that one, though, because it was in COVID, so there was no awards.
There was no ceremony.
Never got to do a speech.
Oh, that's what I was... we were watching on a live stream at the same time.
Really ripped off with that. Everyone had already shutted it off by then. Fuck yeah, the awards are done. I didn't win.
But do they are they special? They mean a lot to you? I've seen photos on your Instagram.
Kiwi Bank New Zealander of the Year nomination one. I mean, that's cool because, that means someone's nominated you. But then that's also those are, and as I've always said, which I mean, they're a big reflection of everything the station and show's done. I get all the accolades for the mental health stuff, right? But the show, like Mel's and them, and Mel and Roger, I'm not just saying it, but they're equally as big a part, because you wouldn't be able to do it without them and their support. So I think that's a reflection of them. So I am proud to get them. Broadcaster of the Year, I was stoked with, because it gives you a sense of, like, I fought so hard to get on the radio. Like, I was told no time and time again, and that I, wasn't really going to be good enough. I remember Dad being like, "Mate, I know that you got passion, but this isn't working, buddy." Like, but I knew, I was like, "Nah, fuck, I know I can do this. Like, I know I can." And so I really just bullied my way into finally getting a job, and then obviously it's worked since. So that was for me a real nice sense of, because when I was first trying to get a job, my dad was making olive oil. He'd retired from banking. He was making olive oil, Village Press. Great plug there. Go get it. They were making it right. And Paul Holmes was getting it. He was making growing olives, and wanted to make his own olive oil. So anyway, had Dad come round for a meeting at his house in Remuera. And I went with Dad trying to do a whole, and Dad was trying to get me into, like, this is my son, and he's just finished training at radio. And so I remember meeting him at his house when I was 20, like before I started at The Rock. And I was like, and Dad was like, "Bryce here, he wants to get into radio. Have you got any advice for him?" He was like, "Don't do it." I remember being like, he's like, "It's, you're going to have years of where you're not liking it," and all of that sort of stuff. But he was super lovely. But so to win an award in his name, and I remember that, and obviously he's one of the GOATs. Yeah, it was cool. It's definitely proud.
Yeah, and to be like a dude on a rock station, on a music radio show that wins this award, like Heather Duplessis-Allen won it this year.
Yeah.
I think Hosking wins it most years. It's the highest honour you can win in New Zealand radio. And you like, I've won it before, but I won it as part of a team with JJ Feeney and Mike Perdue. But you're part of a team, and you won it as an individual.
2014 or something, you won that, didn't you? Was it 2014? I think it was.
First year it was. Yeah. First year that they had this award, so I didn't realise what a big deal it was.
Yeah.
But you won it as an individual, as part of a team, which is fucking massive.
Yeah, yep, super proud of it. Yeah, it's rad. Proud. But it gives you, a sense of pride for sure. Yeah. I mean, people like those were GOATs.
So you win this heavy gold bar, which is in the shape of like a speaker. Where is that?
And Sharyn's now put it on in our bedroom. It did have a real place of pride in our house next to my record player and stuff. But there were too many big gold awards. So so she's moved one of them, that one, into my bedroom on my Duchess.
Because the gold awards, you only win them for the big categories at the radio awards. Everyone else just gets a certificate.
Where we were putting them, we ran out of room. So
she hasn't won many, eh?
So she moved.
She hasn't won many in her.
She should have.
I know.
She did win one though for a Blackie. She won a Blackie, but she just let, I think, Ben, took that gold statue, or Jono.
Well, because you get one per team.
Yeah.
So the too many gold bars you're talking about, they're pretty much, they're mainly yours.
Well, no, they're Blackie. Some of them are Blackie Awards. Another great broadcaster, Kevin Black. No, I mean, I joke when I say that, but that's what she has kept them off to the side for. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's huge.
Yeah. Thanks,
and it must have felt really good, like you were talking before about your dad saying, "Mate, try something else." Like, I feel like you mentioned James Coleman earlier, who was like one of your idols when he was doing the afternoon show at Channel Z. James Coleman was always one of these guys that had this like hum about him. Yeah. And I feel like you're one of these guys. It's necessarily been like, Bryce is going to be the next big thing. You've just like grind away, worked your fucking ass off, kept your head down, and you've achieved wonderful things.
Yeah. Well, thanks, mate. I don't know. I have a great sense of pride of trying to do a good job. I'm proud of what we've been able to achieve in that space with mental health. But I genuinely like making people laugh. I like making myself laugh. Like, we laugh a lot in our show, and a lot of it's super genuine, like, so, that for me is pretty lucky and to be able to do that.
Well, if you're listening to your show, say you're in the car with other people and you have it on like at a gentle volume in the background, you feel like you're missing out on something that's going on.
Well, that's a great compliment.
Those motherfuckers are having a lot of fun.
That's a great compliment. Yeah. That's exactly what we try and do as a show. That's the whole ethos of the show, is we want to be the group at the pub that are having a funny as chat that you that you're also welcome to join in and be part of. That's literally how we position ourselves, is how we want it to sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's cool that you say that.
How close are you to being the best version of yourself?
Oh, good question. Probably still quite far away.
7 out of 10, 8 out of 10? It's an exciting thing about aging, eh? That you think,
Yeah.
because I would have thought by the time I was, I'm 52 now. I would have thought by the time I'm 50, I thought 50,
Yeah, real
everything was
old.
done.
Yeah.
Everything you're going to learn,
Totally.
you've maxed out.
Yeah, well, when we were kids and someone was 46, which I just turned, so fuck, that dude's old as.
He must know everything.
You're old, bro. And now I'm that old, bro. But I don't feel 46.
No,
I don't
you
feel
still-
anywhere near like, all the heaps of people at work like 21, 22. And I'm like, I literally could be their dads. It's like, that's so weird. I don't feel 46, but I see that does. Like, I don't feel 46. And 22-year-old was like, you fucking look it. And I was like, oh, fuck.
And I reckon the older I get, the more I realise that the less I know about stuff. Whereas when I was in my
100%.
early 20s, I probably thought I knew just about everything.
100%. Yeah. So out of 10, I don't know, man. Maybe a... Maybe a 7. Maybe... I
It's not
definitely...
bad. I think you always want to have that buffer of something to work on.
6.5, 7.
Yeah.
There are... 6.5. There are many things I could be better at. Yeah.
But you're someone that you'd want to go and have a beer with?
Yeah, I like having a beer with mates.
No, with yourself. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I would be.
Yeah.
I think because I don't know. Like I feel like I am someone who loves to have a laugh, like which I do. I reckon I'm a good listener. Yeah, and I like talking shit. So I think they're a good combo of three things.
Yeah.
Someone who can talk something sort of serious, can also pay each other out. I'm pretty good at laughing at myself. Yeah, I'd have a beer with me. Sometimes it is just me having a beer with me, so that's why that's easy to answer.
And I'm imagining you're the person in your friend group that you're the safe space everyone can go to for a vulnerable conversation.
Probably, maybe in these last few years, for sure.
Yeah.
I go and MC this fishing event every year. My mate Aaron owns Just Another Fisherman, the clothing brand. He puts
Great
on
brand.
this fishing for men's mental health each year. Anglers Escape up north, and it's growing and growing and growing. This year they're like 140 anglers at it, and I MC those nights, and heaps of mates go on that, and yeah, they'll all come up for those sorts of yarns, things like that. And but then tell me that they've been able to have conversations with their mates that they didn't used to have, and it's amazing. It's like 140 guys that are manly men, like hunters as well, and it's so open, the chat of being vulnerable. And yeah, I think I made the joke this year when I was emceeing up there. I was like, if I've been at the Rock 25 years, I think I'd celebrated it that day, and then I drove up to MC it, and I was like, if I had been talking about men's mental health and being vulnerable and crying and celebrating that 25 years ago when I started, if I emceed a fishing comp at the Furuno fishing comp, I would have been, what would have been yelled at me? Like it would have been some terrible homophobic, something would have been yelled at me, like you'd never have been welcome back. Your boss probably would have been like, what the fuck was that shit? Like, and now it's encouraged, accepted,
normalised,
appreciated. People are right into it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is your legacy, eh? Whatever happens from here on in, this is your legacy as like a broadcaster in New Zealand.
I guess so, yeah. Which I didn't intend it to be.
It's
Comes
cool,
with,
though.
it comes with a bit of responsibility, I
Yeah.
reckon, too, though. I got to make sure I don't fuck it up.
Oh, you won't. You
Yeah.
won't. And last one, 3 words that you'd like the family and friends to describe you when the time comes.
Loyal. Funny. Loyal, funny. Loyal, funny. Genuine. Yeah.
Fuck, they're good words.
Yeah. I reckon they're them. Loving all of those sorts of things, but I think they all are byproducts of those three things.
And you feel like you're living in a way with the words that they'd say?
To the people that are closest to me,
Yeah. Well, that's all that matters, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
This has been a great chat.
Time goes quick.
How are you tired? You did a breakfast radio show this morning.
Yeah.
High energy. Then you finish on the air and you sort of crash, have a post-show meeting or whatever. Then you came straight here.
Then I started crying in here. That gets you tired. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. I enjoyed it.
Is it nice to reflect?
Yeah, it is, because I wasn't sure. I knew a couple of things might come up, but I wasn't sure how the conversation would be shaped as well. Do a good job of listening and asking questions. But yeah, it is good to reflect. It's also good to have a think about things that you know you need to think about that I should put more thought into.
Well, I appreciate the thought you gave some of the answers before answering.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that I wasn't leaving you too long. But you also don't want to say something that isn't correct.
Yeah. Oh, no, I appreciate it. You're a good bastard, and I feel like you just get better with age.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, as I say, yeah, it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing in New Zealand. I've heard you ask that with other guests as well. You know, New Zealanders can be quite hard at accepting praise or whether they're proud of themselves or whatever. I know you've asked people that before.
Oh, you normally end with that. Yeah. Are you?
I'm proud of who I've become.
Okay.
Yep. Proud of who I've become.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully I answer you the same way in 10 years.
Well, I think you're just going to be getting better and better, aren't you?
You hope so.
Like you constantly, like you said before, you're like a 7 out of 10. So there's still things you're working on. So you're just going to get better and better.
Yeah.
Like there's probably things you're doing now, and I'm hoping it's the same for me. That 10 years from now, you'll look back and go, "Oh, why did I do that?"
Yeah.
So you're constantly improving, getting better.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully I'm someone you still want to have a conversation with in 10 years.
100%.
Yeah.
Bryce Casey, or Bryce Anthony Casey, as the New Zealand Herald called you in 2011.
Yeah. Dom, Harvey, thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks
Cheers,
for having
me.
me.
You're a great
thank you,
New Zealander.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Bryce.
Thank you.